All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the No Name Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Will _1, with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Raining Death 909.
Also with our other co-host.
High Kick.
It is just High Kick.
It's High Kick 78, isn't it?
Yeah, it's High Kick 78.
Dumb bitch.
I have it different on different platforms.
You should consolidate and fix those to all one, stupid.
See, I try to do all of them High Kick, but High Kick is taken on some of those, so then I had to add the 78.
What's the story behind 78?
My football number.
Ah,
Legitimately, that's my phone number. That was my football number.
fair enough.
Football boy over here. Likes them foosball, Bobby.
You mentioned that. That actually is one thing I'm looking forward to, is the upcoming King of the Hill reboot.
Oh, dude, I'm so ready for Bobby the chef, the sous chef Bobby.
Yeah,
Have you heard about it?
I have not heard about that.
Oh, the voice actor, I guess the new voice actor for Bobby, right? Or is it the old one?
I'm not sure.
So whoever's voice acting the new Bobby, at least, posted a picture about it and said some things about it. But also, it was like a picture, I think, from like the show, like
it was an show of like Bobby.
Bobby as a sous chef. He's a sous chef.
But here's the controversial thing.
Oh.
So people dug into that picture, you see, and they found out that the particular type of Japanese cooking that he's doing is traditional Japanese cooking using charcoal.
It's from the episode forever ago where they all found out that charcoal tastes better than propane.
So
Even though in real life it doesn't really matter, especially if you use wood pellets or you use wood, like a wood smoke box.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing Hank try and reconcile Bobby cooking with charcoal over his love of natural
Bro,
gas.
Hank looked old as fuck in the original series. What is he going to look like now?
Well, I
Is he
mean,
going to look like Cotton?
I don't think so, because I mean,
Cotton has to be dead now, too.
I hope so. that fucking crusty old bastard.
I mean, the real question is, do you guys know how much of the original cast they have?
They had most of all of them.
There you go. A bit more towards you.
And just talking to the mic. I mean, I'm looking at you while talking, but I'm also trying to talk sideways. And it works.
Exactly.
I'm talking directly into the mic. What are you talking about?
I don't know. We were having trouble hearing you for a small bit.
Yeah, it's better now that your mic's a bit more angled towards you.
I mean,
You can also bring it closer.
Oh, God.
Rescree.
Um,
But yeah. No, it's got a lot of the original cast. In fact, before the guy who did Dale's voice died, he recorded some episodes. So Dale is still there as Dale for I don't know how many episodes, but they talked about that. Somebody brought that question up to him, either Mike Judge or that character or the guy playing that character, and he said, a lot of the original cast is still returning, and again that they had some of Dale's.
so I think we don't have so we don't have Dale anymore. We don't have Lucky or Luann.
Nope.
Right? I think that's a. Do we still have John Redcorn?
I don't remember. I really don't.
I don't recall.
I don't either.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle that in the episodes, the passing of Dale and Lucky and Luann. I assume that they're going to do some kind of audio splicing to try and write out those characters. I mean, at least for Lucky and Luann, because I don't know if they were given a chance to record lines.
Well, Lucky and Luann, I think, at the end of King of the Hill, Luann was gone, I believe, right?
I do believe
she was no longer she went off and did her own thing. I think with Lucky, right?
That's my thing.
They were dating for a while.
They were dating. They got married.
Yeah, so they got married and started living their own life. So
yeah, because
I think that helps. That might just be its own thing.
Yeah, because that was a big plot point in one of the episodes where Lucky had a code of honor and he wanted to get his GED. That was what he declared he was going to do before he got married to Luann. And in that episode, he enlisted Peggy for help because, Peggy is a quote-unquote substitute teacher, the best substitute teacher of Spanish in all the fucking county, according to her. And she spent that entire episode sabotaging Lucky because he was there. He was legitimately like, I don't know if that's true, Peggy. And he's like, well, no, that's what it is. And
yeah, they really
believed her.
For some reason, Hank and Peggy really didn't like Lucky just because he was old, I think, older, and Luann was very young.
So there was a number of things that definitely come into play. Lucky was older. He was also, from the trailer park, very poor. So they didn't see a future for Luann.
So was Luann.
Yeah, Luann, but she was supported by Hank and Peggy. I mean, she was living with them for a time, and they tried to give her the support that they could, to help her live a better life. I mean, getting her education and such. So they tried in their own way.
Kind of. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. They're honestly like not. I don't know. They're like what I would argue is kind of a semi-regular like Southern family.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely.
Even with the faults, I mean, that's some of that's how I grew up with the father being overbearing. So mine was worse, and so was some other people's. But other than that, yeah, it's similar.
So is there going to be like a time skip or something?
Yes,
Yeah,
20-year time skip. I think.
Yeah, 20 or something about there.
It's pretty easy to get to take people out of the picture then if like all the actors that don't want to come back or can't come back.
Yeah.
It's like either they moved, died. I mean, it's 20 years and shit happens.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
So yeah, that's something. Is it supposed to be coming out next year?
I don't remember. I have no idea.
We'll have to check on that and see about that because that'll be something exciting to see on TV.
100%. It'll be nice. We'll have some good adult animation again.
Right. Because that's the thing. I mean, when that show was novel for its time, and I think
it is the American anime. It is the Texas anime specifically.
Absolutely, and I think that show, showed a side of Texas that, we didn't even see then, because that show was really ahead of its time in a bunch of different ways. I mean, Hank was never one to be like he didn't show any of those like the Southern hatred kind of thing, like the passive aggressiveness and such, or any kind of like overt racism. Like Hank didn't really care what race you were particularly. I mean, being neighbors with Khan and such, and
Well, he only had problems with Khan because Khan was an asshole.
yeah, Khan was an asshole, but that he didn't like him because he was an asshole, not because
In
he
fact,
was
actually,
Laotian.
the opposite was happening. Khan was a racist motherfucker originally.
Yes, Khan. I mean, and Khan
And
still
also,
was.
Khan didn't like the fact that Bobby was dating Khan Jr.
Yeah.
Khan Jr.
yeah. Khan did not like that Bobby was dating Connie. And also, I mean, Khan just had a fucking chip on his shoulder of superiority about being better than everybody, which, I mean, he lived right next to him. He had no claim. Their fucking houses cost the same. Pretty much.
Yet he was always trying to one-up everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's people are speculating around the end of 2024 or early 2025.
Well,
so pretty soon.
As I
I
say,
hate to
since
tell
we're
you,
in the-
it's
Yeah.
the end of 2024.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so it should be coming out pretty fucking soon here.
God damn, this man
God,
just throws
I
his
was
phone
gonna
on the
say,
fucking
right?
table.
I forgot how sensitive this table is to making noise. I thought just dropping this thing would be fine, but no.
You're just
Also,
dropping that
you don't just
2-pound
throw your
brick.
fucking phone onto the table.
It was like
man.
2 inches. I dropped it like I was just like, eh.
Yeah,
No.
see, that was much softer. What you could have done.
Here we go.
That. Your table
Problem
privileges have been
solved.
revoked.
Don't eat it.
Table privileges revoked.
There we go. Wow, that
Wow,
actually
that was
did
literally,
it.
that was literally quiet.
Yeah,
Silent. A little better.
a little better. Yeah, it helps.
This table's loud as shit.
Yeah.
It's because it's fucking plastic and empty,
Lusty.
like my soul.
Hollow.
Hello.
Yeah.
I love how it only picks up some of this. It picks it up and then cuts it out. That's so odd.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you found one of the ASMR pads.
Oh god.
Just-
All I
just
have
put
to
your
do is
nails
get
up and
really
down on
close
it.
to this mic. It's like ASMR the whole
We just
time.
gotta speak in a quiet, calming voice. Just whisper really low.
Yeah, whisper.
That's half
Just
our audience
make
leaves.
Right.
What?
Frankly, I don't get the appeal of ASMR. Like it's just,
ASMR for me stands for ass. Or, I don't
I
know.
mean, a lot of apparently a lot of people actually use it to like help them go to sleep. They use it as like white noise.
yeah.
But
My guy,
Well-
I have a CPAP machine. I don't need white noise. On top of that, in my office, I have servers and switches. I have all the white noise in
He's
the
got tons of
world.
white noise. I mean, to be fair, like, I mean, I use like rain noises, and I also have my fan blowing into my face.
Ah, you're one of those rain men. huh?
so
So it's actually only a more recent thing. I didn't always used to do it. The fan was enough, but then I tried it one night, and I liked it. I like hearing the rain. The thing is, my house is too fucking insulated, so I can't really hear the rain unless a goddamn like horrible ass storm is going on.
do you
My
know,
window is right next to the
you know
freaking
how-
outside. I hear the rain sometimes.
Do you know how most rain noises are recorded?
No, I don't.
Frying meat.
Really?
Yeah, it's the sound of the oil.
Huh.
I guess
I'm gonna have to look that
some
up.
of it's just like water on a tin sheet too.
Yeah,
But,
it
like
could be that.
so the reason why they do that though apparently is because they don't want to take out the expensive equipment outside and risk it being out in the rain. So
Yeah, they could record real rain music, but I'm saying they use water against the tin sheets. One of them.
So according
all
to this
sorts of
person
things.
on TikTok, who's a professional audio mixer, so he
Cap
says
and a half.
yeah.
Oh, yep. All right, continue. It's
Yeah,
TikTok.
it is TikTok. So
everybody lies on
everything was
TikTok.
taken a grain of salt.
Yep. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, he says as Cohen says, like, is it actually like fried chicken or frying meat or et cetera, kind of thing. So, I mean, that's what some random ass person on TikTok who says he's a professional audio engineer and such and such.
I mean, you can make whatever you make sounds with. I mean, there's people that can beatbox it like a lot of sounds. So I mean,
That's true.
really, that's your job as a, I guess, audio sound effect engineer. You just make sound out of nothing.
Yeah.
everyone out there is falling
God damn it.
asleep to the sound of fried chicken.
Apparently
Possibly.
so. It's funny because I go down to a HuffPost article right here from HuffPost UK, and it's the exact same thing. They're again saying that the same Jinmin.wave guy on TikTok is
So now we're sourcing random TikTokers.
yeah. So
Cool.
that's
Where else are you gonna source?
A person who actually does this and is certified.
I mean, there's
I-
plenty
like
of people in
Mar-
Hollywood who are fully
right? I would take Martin O'Donnell from fucking the Halo composer. I mean, shit. Somebody.
So,
I mean,
but
there's-
composing and Foley artists are two different
No,
animals.
100%. But I'm saying, that guy's a composer, works for companies, one of the biggest composers, like Hans Zimmer or whatever. You would look to people that are
Yeah,
respected
yeah.
and do the thing. This is some random dude on the internet.
But also, you gotta really think about it. So, because you mentioned, big composers and such professionals. Does anybody in this fucking room know a Foley artist or know anybody who does Foley artistry in Hollywood or any by name? No, we do not. Nobody knows who these people are.
Exactly.
So,
But that's not for us to know. HuffPost, anybody that has like any journalistic integrity, it's for them to figure out.
well, I mean, they covered the article as it, so presumably they did their due diligence. So this random guy.
Well,
on
also
TikTok
tough to
says
post, of
Foley
course,
art.
but still.
Yeah.
Also, again,
Totally.
a lot of the modern media doesn't do that. They have random interns that just see this shit on TikTok and then probably make an article about it.
Yeah.
They get in trouble about this shit all the time currently. Washington Post, I forget who else. Definitely CNN. I mean, a lot of people get in trouble for just fucking regurgitating slop.
Well, yeah. I mean, we saw that with that that Hugsby video, where his how it's actually made bread video
Yeah,
was
see,
on.
I was like, we
CNN.
have exact examples.
It's like, really, you did it? They just had to watch what, like 5 seconds, and they would have known that.
Yeah, 31 seconons in, and they would have heard it.
No, 0 seconds. It's how it's actually
That's
made.
true. How it's actually made.
With a picture of some dude. But
With
to be
explosion in
fair,
the background.
to be fair, when he was saying like it's a picture of him,
Yep.
And not just some re-uploader. But I was like, re-uploaders could just be a picture of anybody. So that
I mean, that's
also
true
is
too.
Yeah, whenever he said that, I was like, well, hold on, re-uploaders can be any fucking thing.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet somebody was either fired or written up for that?
I mean, I
It
think
depends on if there was public outcry and people let them know.
I honestly think
It's also CNN.
because they did replace it pretty quickly once they found out. But honestly, I think it's probably just like reprimand. I don't think anybody was fired for this simple mistake. Honestly, it's a fucking daily article about what's going on. And
It depends on if they were an intern or not, if they were paid or not.
I mean,
Contractors. I
if
mean,
there are some random ass intern who's there to learn, well, they've learned, and
yeah,
hopefully
they learned
get
the lesson
fired.
by getting fired.
No, you don't learn. I mean,
Well, yeah,
negative,
you do learn.
negative reinforcement's not a good way to teach people or
Tell-
animals.
Tell that to the U.S. military.
Well, the U.S. military's been doing this a long time,
Yes.
and doesn't necessarily mean they're
I
right.
mean, the military's negative reinforcement is actually just ending people. So
What?
lesson
No.
learned.
What?
Yeah, what the fuck are you
As
talking
I say, people
about?
don't learn lessons if they're dead,
Yeah,
sir.
right?
No, people just die in this. So it's like you learn the lesson. That guy was
No,
supposed to.
that's
No,
why
they
you
just-
do training, and when you fuck up in training,
You get yelled at hard.
you get yelled
It's
at.
very negative.
I was talking about like our policing services around the world.
What?
Not like
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about like us in like Iraq and shit.
Okay.
That's completely
So-
different.
so
That's
there
America
was an
trying to learn a
occupying
lesson.
force.
Right.
Yeah.
That's America
That's what I'm
trying to
talking
learn a lesson. And to be fair, we didn't learn a lesson. We did learn a lot going through that, and now we're really great at urban combat. Which Russia, if you want to see people who didn't learn, Russia didn't fucking learn because then they went and invaded Ukraine. They're doing the same shit they did in Iraq that didn't work.
I mean, the same thing they did in Iraq, they did in Afghanistan, they did in fucking World War II.
Correct.
Russian tactics have yet to evolve past that.
If you want to talk about a military force not learning, Russian.
Absolutely.
We at least learned and we adapted, and we've made some really fucked up shit that's really cool.
Yeah.
For all that.
It's also interesting to see what we're seeing in Ukraine, because we're seeing, Russian tactics still being used, but also the difference is that we've learned between Iraq and what we're seeing in Ukraine right now. I know a lot of military experts, generals and, analysts and such of that nature are really hardcore reviewing this ongoing war, and they're seeing the differences in tactics that Ukraine's pulling that is successfully working that is outside the traditional playbook.
Well, I mean, like,
Well, also, the problem is the playbook, as far as that goes, is just freaking, invading forces versus home forces. Home field advantage.
it's very surprising. Like when you look at it, like how much like technology has changed war, and then like a lot of it. Oh, you want me to move a little closer? Is that what that's going on?
Don't respond. Let us do the thing. Shut the fuck up and keep talking.
Let's go.
It's like one of the first things that happened though at the like the beginning of this war was they're using cell towers to find all the Russian forces because they had their fucking cell phones on.
Well, a lot of that too was because the Russian jamming technology, they didn't have enough encrypted communicators, so they were resorting to using cell phones and other public things, walkie-talkies, etc. Because Russia was not prepared for this. They jumped into this. Remember, they jumped into this thinking it was going to be a 3-day special military operations that's developed into a whole new war because Russia severely overestimated its capabilities and underestimated Ukraine's capabilities.
And yet, to further on that,
David, let him speak.
well, I was gonna go next. I was literally waiting. I even
Okay.
came in here.
Okay.
Suck
okay.
my dick.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, no, they started using a lot of unencrypted communications, but both sides are. If you listen to anybody talk about it from either side, both sides are a shit show. So the Chinese went over there. Some of the unofficial Chinese are helping, obviously, Russians. Same thing, North Koreans that may or may not be employed yet. I don't think I've heard anything about that.
So the
They're
North Koreans are there. However, if they're being used or not is still a bit up in the air. Apparently,
Nobody knows yet.
well,
I haven't seen them.
from intelligence that we're seeing out of Russia and Ukraine, the North Koreans are just going wild off reservation kind of thing because they finally have a little measure of freedom. They're also basically eating everything in sight because this is the first time they've gotten a chance to actually eat a good amount of supply of food.
The other big problem is same problem that they've always had. This goes back to another issues going on over there is communication barriers. There's like fucking I think 20 or so. There's not that very many North Korean translators for Russia,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And so there's like I think the meme is there's like 50 like Koreans to like per translator or something. There's a fuck ton of dudes that aren't getting talked to. And so they're just kind of doing whatever. And again, it's the same thing on, our allied side. I guess this is allied side technically. The Americans that go over there are saying the same thing. They all have like 5 different communicators. Like unironically, a dude was talking about how he has to run 3 different radios to contact 3 different like groups of people. And then the Ukrainians have to have somebody translate to English for all the English. Like it's crazy over there. The whole warscape over there with all the people and players that were part of it.
Right.
It's just, at least for comms. Comms is just fucking like the Wild West. It's just whatever.
I mean, I thought I heard out of the Ukraine that they're trying to pair the foreign what's the word I'm looking for? Foreign soldiers,
Coalition.
foreign coalition together. Of course, try and keep languages together for ease of communication. That doesn't necessarily mean they can always do it, but they're trying to.
Trying to and doing are 2 different things.
Oh.
Also, you say you try to, but apparently from all the people on the ground and all the different, there's plenty of YouTube fucking, I don't know, just random people, random things going on. But yeah, they all, like I said, they all say the same problem. They communicate within their own like little groups.
Yeah.
If you have a guy that can understand some English, you have it better because obviously you can talk to that person and they can talk for you or whatever. But yeah, it's just a shit show. TLDR, it's a shit show. War's hell, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen recent numbers coming out of Ukraine that they just announced that Ukraine has had about 37,000 deaths, about 300 and something thousand injuries, and the numbers from Russia, they're saying they have about 600,000 dead. So for every Ukrainian killed, they killed over 15 Russians per se.
Something cool to think about though. Like, when was the last time that there was a war between two more or less like technologically advanced countries though?
It
So
doesn't happen.
it doesn't normally happen, but also we haven't really seen that. I mean, we didn't even see this in the beginning of this war. I mean, Russia had, it had everything, tanks and planes and jammers, because I mean, they were far more advanced technology than what the Ukrainians had. Um, the Ukrainians really had to struggle for the first, couple of months of this operation in defending themselves before they were able to get supplies from people like, Germany and the UK and America.
Well, kind of. There was a lot of stuff already going there from us and other of the other NATO countries. There was a lot of stuff going in the beginning. At the very, very beginning, like whenever Russia essentially blitzkrieged and almost won in the first day, which they were pretty close. They almost got to Kiev the first day, which was wild.
I mean, they pushed them back pretty quickly.
Right. Well, that was what I was saying. So they had some of our tech, or not ours, but I forget who else is over there. Maybe Poland. One of the other NATO allies that has some of our stuff. They had some of those because they were given those pretty quickly. I mean, obviously, people saw what was happening. Ukraine, there were stories about this before this happened, like about 3 months or something before, where they were Ukraine knew something was going to happen, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw Russia. I mean, we saw Russia sending troops and building up on the border. Like, it was no small thing. I mean, everybody who had half a mind could have seen it coming.
Except for the problem where that happens all over the world with China and North Korea.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, North Korea builds
but they
up,
do that.
but they always do that.
Right. But that's the thing. That's one of the theories for the retaking of Taiwan and all the stuff China may do, is that they're going to keep doing this until one day they just go full.
I mean, maybe, but also Taiwan, has like so many plans in place for if China actually attacks, because the island nature of Taiwan makes it so there's only like 2 or 3 places in Taiwan where they can actually effectively do a land invasion. And Taiwan has those things fucking mined all hell. They have all the little barriers and everything. Like, they will put China through hell if they try and hit those beaches, before they're ready. So they already have plans in place.
That doesn't stop it if you go scorched earth and use a bunch of drones, which China has.
Yeah, China has, but China doesn't want to rule over an empty landmass. They want the technology.
I don't know. I don't know if
It's also bad optics for the Chinese regime if they can't take Taiwan, and there's still somebody to fucking rule. Ruling over a fucking land of dust and dirt you're not ruling over anything.
I mean, part of the Chinese mentality is to wipe them out.
Well, again,
they say they're real China.
Well, again, yeah. China says that they're real China, but also,
Taiwan.
well, yeah, yes.
It also might not matter too much to them since because of their density, they just spread out a little bit more.
But China, remember, China keeps claiming that Taiwan is China, just a rebellious state of China, and that's the thing too. So there's other states of China because there's Macau and there's Hong Kong, that are separate countries or separate city states.
Autonomous.
Yeah, thank you. Autonomous regions in China.
Although Hong Kong is Chinese proper now, basically.
Basically,
Chinese
yes.
Insider, so.
But at one point they were considered autonomous.
They were mini America.
Mini UK. Remember,
something like that.
It was the British that ruled them for over 100 and something years.
Yeah, but we taught them the bad things like capitalism, and they took to that really good.
I mean, to be fair, I worked for Hong Kong. They were an economic powerhouse and a center for Chinese access to the markets for decades.
World trade.
Exactly. World trade. I mean, world trade works.
Yeah.
That's why.
We had a center for those.
We have. The World Trade Center was a part of a complex of like 12 other buildings.
Mm.
Um, but speaking of world trade,
9/11?
the tariffs.
Terrorists. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. Domestic terrorism. Tariffs.
So that's one of those things that's coming up that we're going to be seeing probably soon. In next month in January, is we're going to be seeing Donald Trump become president again for according to his words the third time.
Third.
Remember, he never gave up that he was already president during after 2020.
Oh, you mean when he lost and they stole the presidency from him? Whatever.
Yeah, so he claims. So yeah, he
Right.
never gave that up.
Even though sometimes he does say that they didn't win, and then
Yeah.
like when you ask him, he's like, no, it was stolen. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Although he walked away, he gave up power. I mean, he wasn't the president.
No. But anyways, so yeah, because shortly, January 21st comes around, he's president, etc. He said he's going to be putting in by executive order a lot of his tariffs, and that's the thing too. It's like, for folks, for people who don't know what a tariff is a government tax on goods coming into the country
Imports,
paid
yes.
by the importer. So China does not pay the tariffs. We pay the tariffs. If a wholesaler buys a shirt from China for $10 and the tariff is 10%, okay, cool. That shirt costs $11 for the importer to bring in. If we raise that tariff up to 100%, then that shirt is suddenly costing $20 to import in. And then that's the thing. They're not just going to pass that additional $10 per shirt on to the consumer because everybody else has to get their cut to account for fees and costs, etc.
They're going to go up to 50% or more. No, I don't know. Who does?
So that's something that people are saying is
They're
like
just going to keep greeting. They've been doing for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, well, absolutely correct. Greedflation will hit even harder because once these tariffs go into play, we'll see products that might have been $50. By the end of it, you're going to be paying, I would say, close to like 75, 80 is what some people are saying, 86. So prices will increase, bro. About 50% or more on products, and that'll be everything because, I mean, China produces so much of our technology and so much of our random crap that we order every day, all day from Amazon and shit.
I mean, if you think about it, though, it gives U.S. companies a chance to actually undercut them.
So here's the neat thing that happens. So that's the theory of it, but reality is far different. So what happens normally when the tariff gets put in place is that if there actually even is a American company, because that's also the thing too, is that there aren't really a lot of American companies who do what China does or what all these other nation states do.
It would really depend on the sector for that one.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like even like your general consumer electronics, a lot of that doesn't happen here. It happens in Mexico or China or Vietnam, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing here is we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the supply chains, we don't have the raw materials, we don't have anything that we would need to even begin to concept of the concepts of a plan of trying to bring all this manufacturing back.
All of it for sure. We probably could get a good bit of it if we tried hard enough.
If we
The biggest problem is we're not. The companies are too greedy and they're not going to pay workers enough to do the things, and then also that's not going to be cheap enough to compete with China. That's the biggest reason why it is the way it is currently.
Yeah.
China does it the cheapest, and a lot of American companies, some of it goes direct to Chinese companies, all that other stuff. A lot of American companies just buy the shit in China directly from the factory and just fucking import it and sell it to everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. But also another thing to note is that shit, what was I going? I kind of lost my train of thought there.
We just bring the Chinese companies here.
So
That's actually a problem.
it's actually kind of funny you mentioned that. There was a Chinese manufacturer who made trailers.
What kind of trailers? What?
For like hauling things, like a car trailer or like a trailer for like an 18-wheeler kind of thing. So big trailers, small trailers, all kinds of different things. And they were getting hit by the tariff, and it was affecting their production. So what they did was like, okay, cool. We're going to if we're going to be hit by these tariffs anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to do manufacturing in America, and sell our trailers under a new brand. And that's what they did. They built the supply chain necessary to start building their trailers, and they sold them.
Hey,
And
that brings jobs here too, though.
so here's what they found out. Um, they were losing sales drastically, and they were trying to understand what's going on. Why are we losing sales? We've brought manufacturing back into America. We're manufacturing these here. Why are we losing sales? Why are our competitors still undercutting us to such a grave degree when we're no longer being hit by tariffs? So what they found was that these American manufacturers were buying trailers from China, shipping them over, and then doing the last 10% touching of the trailer to say it's manufactured in America. So it's
Assembled in America.
exactly. So they avoid the Chinese tariffs. They undercut the Chinese company who came to America and built a fucking factory here, and still made bank. So that's one thing that happens. But what we can expect to see, and what we have seen with other tariffs, is that whenever whenever a product gets tariffed, they're still going to import it. I mean, that still happens, but and the product it goes up from China directly. What American manufacturers do is that they raise their prices up to like $1 below it, and then boom, the American product is cheaper than the Chinese product. The American product, they make a bigger profit for nothing. The product didn't change. The only thing that changed was that there was a protectionist tariff that increased the cost for the Chinese goods, so the Americans could increase it and make money anyway. So that's what we expect to happen, and it's what we've seen happen in the past with tariffs. Everything gets more expensive, and there is no benefit.
Even though there should be.
Even though there should be, because that's the thing. That's the whole idea of protectionist tariff, is to protect your, homegrown industries. Protecting steel. When we had those steel tariffs going on, or protecting X, Y, and Z. But it doesn't work. It does not work. Tariffs in today's integrated modern age of trade and commerce can have some effect. I'm not saying they don't work entirely, but major, broad, across the board tariffs don't effectively work. Tariffs are a scalpel. You need to target things delicately, and then they might have some positive effect. But taking a fucking sledgehammer to the entire goddamn book is not going to work.
I mean, I imagine that like doing tariffs against only China, though, it would make it so that we'd probably rely, like, instead of this one line where everything's focused on just China, everything is from China. If everything from China is tariffed, then I'm assuming that more products would come from different countries then.
I was gonna say that's going to be the big meme. A lot of Chinese companies are probably going to open up companies in like Singapore or something and just import it that way.
So
They're going to go from China to Singapore and then Singapore to here, and they're not going to hit as many tariffs.
you're exactly correct. That is actually
'Cause
a
that's what
strat.
happens. Yeah.
That is a strat that companies do to get around tariffs.
Mhm.
Is they'll do exactly what you say. They import it in, and then suddenly it's from Singapore. It's a Singaporean product. So,
Singaporean company.
yeah, exactly. So we can expect that to happen. Hell, it'll be on paper books. It'll happen in port. They'll ship things out of the port of Hong Kong. Fucking change the flag, the country flag over, whatever, and boom, it's coming out of Singapore, etc. It's gonna be so fucking slick and smooth. They ain't gonna slow down for shit.
No.
So yeah, I mean that happens all the time. I forget the name. There's a term for it, but I forget it. So I mean, there's tons of ways around, and the thing is too, tariffs don't go just one way. When we tariff China, China tariffs us back. When we tariff China about steel prices in the last Trump administration, they tariffed us soybeans. And soybean farmers were their biggest market was China. And when they lost China, because China just went to Brazil, China was going to America because maintaining good relations with countries by trade is a huge thing. It's good diplomatically, but it's also just good because everybody makes money. And that got blown up. So Japan just went to Brazil. Brazil, soy industry grew massively.
China.
And
You said Japan.
oh, sorry, China went to Brazil. Thank you. And that industry boomed, and we lost out. And the thing is too, it did not help us in any way. Steel did not come back to as great a degree as they want. The soybean industry was fucking battered and destroyed. The thing is, too, we gave billions of dollars to U.S. farmers to subsidize them. They wouldn't have needed it if it wasn't for the retaliatory tariffs, because, our original tariff. So these farmers got, bank because the government fucked them over. So I'm not necessarily opposed to that. It was their fault. It was the government's fault for causing this whole brouhaha in the first place. But still, no, I mean, I don't. Certain subsidies and things, I think, could be curtailed and scaled back to a certain degree.
Don't tell Monsanto that.
Yeah. So I mean, we just gave away billions of dollars and we wouldn't have needed to. So we can expect China to, if we're going to get tariff, they're going to tariff us back, and that's going to kill trade between us, and that will just make things way more expensive in general than just even the original tariff itself. Because I mean, we trade with China to the tunes of hundreds of billions of dollars and such of goods every year. So I this isn't going to play out well, I don't think, if he goes as far as he says he does, as he says he wants to.
You hear that, folks? Buy now. Buy.
Absolutely. If you have any kind of tech, any kind of big purchase that comes from China, motherboards or whatever else, expensive things, I would absolutely suggest buy now. I mean,
Those don't come from China unless it's Supermicro.
Yeah, probably, yeah, Supermicro. So servers are going to get more expensive. So definitely buy your tech now. Buy anything that comes from China now, because after January 21st, it will go up in price.
I thought the leader of China fucking loved Trump though.
So it's he's a useful idiot.
We're gonna see.
He's a useful idiot.
'Cause him and Pootie Poo get along really well for
Him and
whatever
Putin
reason.
get along well, but that's because Donald Trump is very easily
manipulated, whatever.
Because you give him a compliment, you tell him, good job, wow, you're so great, et cetera, which is what these guys do. And he's like, okay, cool, I love you guys, we're great. I mean, that's what they all do. I mean, that's what Viktor Orban does, that's what fucking Kim Jong-un did, that's what Xi Jinping did, that's what Putin did. And these fucking dictators, we're like, oh, we love this guy, we give him a compliment or two and he does whatever the fuck we want. That's the thing. It's like, to my mentality, if I'm the president, I don't need to be liked by these people. We can have a cordial relationship.
It's not very diplomatic of you.
But we don't need to be liked by them. We just need to have a mutual understanding on where we are. You can do that without being liked by them.
Why not be liked by them, quote unquote?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be liked by them, but how you get to that point matters. If you just roll over for them and that's why they like you, then that's not a good position for America.
Well, that's not a good position for anybody, unless you're into that sort of thing.
Unless you're into that sort of thing.
I guess the real question here is, like, would you consider Trump a cutthroat businessman?
So I would like to say he thinks he believes that.
He thinks so. He's cutthroat for sure in his own mind.
Mm-hmm.
And he's cutthroat in the way that he thinks of an idea and executes quickly.
He's bombastic.
Is he the type of CEO that can, like, heartlessly stab somebody in the back?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. All day.
100%. In fact, he literally does that. He did that with his campaign mate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, fucking, he threw Vance under the bus. He throws everybody under the bus once he's used them up. I mean, his lawyers, his fucking Rudy Giuliani.
Thinking about it, like I wonder if, like, the other countries are not knowing what, like, U.S. businessmen are like behind doors.
Oh no, they know.
No, of course they know.
As I say,
they deal with business. In fact, like, the argument would be, China deals with U.S. business people all the time because, again, the trade's big. I don't know about Russia though. What?
It's like, I imagine that politicians are cutthroat too, but like,
absolutely,
like, to become like on top of a company and shit, like, you have to be really cutthroat in this country.
Nope,
I mean,
nope, not at all. You got to be born into it until you know.
Yeah, it is often who you know.
Well, if you want to come from nothing and go up,
yes,
a small loan.
If you want to come from nothing, you're stepping on everybody down.
Not necessarily. There are people that don't.
There are
but
people
yes.
that don't, but a lot of times it is. 99% of the time, it's you're stepping on people below you to get up. But um, I mean, that's the thing too. Like you said, in his mind, he thinks he's a cutthroat business, and that's the thing too. Like what he's doing with these recent news articles about how he's going to tariff China or tariff Canada and tariff Mexico.
Well, hold on a second. What?
Yeah, you haven't heard?
No.
So yeah, so he recently announced on Truth Social or something that he wanted to tariff Canada and Mexico for a blanket one across the board, 25%, and then higher ones in more targeted industries.
Well, why? So specifically, we manufacture a lot of things in Mexico, like
Yes,
right across the border.
absolutely. I mean,
In fact,
Mexico.
most of the American vehicles, a lot of them are made in Mexico.
Mhm.
Forget what else. Usually discs and stuff, but that hasn't been in a while. But there's a lot of stuff that's if it's not made in China, and it's not made in America, for us, it's made in Mexico. I
Absolutely.
don't know about Canada. I don't know what the fuck's made in Canada.
So we get a lot of lumber from Canada. We get a lot of oil from Canada. Natural gas comes from there, and of course, just the general economic trade. Of all the other industries.
I mean, they're our hat.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
they're our hat.
Syrup.
Exactly.
Sure.
Canadian. Remember, they have a strategic reserve of maple syrup.
That's fucking hilarious.
So, but I mean, Canada and Mexico are our two biggest trading partners outside of China. But also, one of the things I don't understand how this is going to work is that we have the UMCA, the NAFTA too.
I was gonna say because we had NAFTA, so I don't know why that works, and then we have NAFTA too. Like
Yes, I don't know why NAFTA 2 would allow tariffs. I haven't
we
read
made
NAFTA
it.
2.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So, but it's just a question on my mind. Like, how is this allowed if we're supposed to have free trade? I mean, I guess because the tariff does impact trade, right?
Yes, but I know how. It's like our freedoms; they're not very free.
Damn. So
We're all barcode.
yeah. So I expect cars are going to go up in price by quite a bit. Because again, like you said, manufacturing happens a lot of the times in Mexico for a lot of vehicles. So if you're looking to buy a car now, I would absolutely suggest you look to do it very soon, because you will be paying quite a bit more money in taxes on it, and just in general as the final price. We can expect to see cars go up like $5,000 easily.
So what I'm hearing is it's time to buy and rebuild more cars again.
I mean, absolutely. If you're a car rebuilder and you've got some used cars, whatever that needs fixing, and you want to resell them, then the next year and the following couple of years is going to be a great time for you guys. The used market is just going to explode in price. Again, it's going to be COVID prices, but worse.
Well, right now the auto market's in a major downturn. Has been for the past 2 years.
Well, yeah, I mean that happens whenever
Because
you're
it went up to a
manufacturing.
major. It was up majorly for the past. COVID happened.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens whenever all your cars are goddamn starting at $60,000 and nobody can afford them, and people can't afford rent, they can't afford food. Why the fuck are they going to spend $60,000 on a goddamn vehicle?
How you gonna get to work?
With all the tariffs and shit, like the most affordable vehicles are going to be U.S. made, which are also the most unreliable.
Correct.
Well, I mean, a lot of manufacturers have manufacturing facilities in America. I mean, yes, the big three automakers, but Honda has manufacturing, BMW and Volvo both have manufacturing plants in America.
Toyota, which is
Toyota
one of
too,
the
yes.
biggest, cheapest
Of
ones.
course, I can't believe I forgot them. So I mean, a lot of manufacturers do make cars here, not enough to supply the U.S. market, because otherwise, why would we be importing them from Mexico? But we do have some.
It's funny because GM makes cars in Mexico. I think Ford does too.
Yeah, a lot of the big three does. I mean, everybody does, because of NAFTA, there's no harm in doing it other than you get way cheaper labor cost.
Yep.
So it just makes sense in that sense. So yeah, things are. I'm gonna expect things are gonna get much more expensive in the coming years, and that's the thing too. To jump back to the point about bringing manufacturing back to America, it's not gonna happen because the companies know in 4 years that he's going to be gone for good, and that somebody else will be in place. Somebody else who probably won't put ridiculous tariffs into play. So they know they just need to hold out for a couple years, and things will get back to business as usual. At least
Do I mean, like one good thing that can come out of it, like straight, and we can like strengthen our ties with Canada and like Mexico and shit.
Yeah, but what he's talking about is literally not that.
Yeah, what's going to happen is it's going to hurt our relations with both those countries until this is over. Because that's the thing. It's gonna hurt everybody in America to varying degrees. Obviously, the rich and the fucking millionaire, billionaire class won't be hurt by this much at all.
Oh, the 1% will never get hurt by anything.
No,
No.
this is going to affect you and me, everyday Americans, and in our purchases. People voted because people voted for Trump because eggs were high. Eggs are going to keep going up, and everything's going to go up.
I don't know why the egg thing is the biggest thing. Eggs were like $3, man. At least down here.
Yeah, but eggs isn't about eggs. It's about the symbology of it. It's about
No, I
the
know. I'm
groceries
just saying
overall.
everybody was saying eggs, and I was
Yeah,
like,
you
it's
know,
not that bad.
eggs, bread, milk, etc. Your staple
Also,
products.
just get chickens and fucking make your own eggs. They're free.
Well, I mean, people live in apartments and other shit there. They can't really have
Why not?
animals.
Just put a coop in there.
They can't-
Just put a coop outside. You can. They don't require space, brother.
Yeah. Chickens don't require space, but I mean, your apartment may not allow it, or city
Man,
zoning may not
fuck-
allow it,
man, fuck
HOAs or
that.
whatever.
No,
Goddamn HOA.
No, I don't disagree. Fuck the HOAs and fuck. I mean, there should be some kind of allowances, but again, a lot of people don't have that ability, that time, or you know. So
also, some people just don't know how to deal with them. I just feed them and water them like any other animal, and then they poop out eggs. It's just,
yeah.
it's really not that hard.
You
They're
know,
also stupid as fuck. They eat like anything.
the whole HOA thing, it's funny, like reading comments online, like people from like the UK and stuff. Apparently, they don't have HOAs, and they point and laugh. It's like, you guys are the least free country in the world.
Absolutely.
See, you
In
say
certain
that, but they
senses, for
still
sure.
have entire organizations of Karens, and their cities are more restrictive on what they can do. Their actual like cities and whatever their version of that is, counties. I don't know. Yeah, they have entire groups of people that shit on you for doing anything you want.
So
It's the same thing. They have the same problems. It's just different. It's the weird part is ours isn't a government like or elected body.
it's a private organization.
Technically, the HOA is mostly elected bodies, but yeah, it's a private organization that you're forced into, which sucks.
Yeah, forced to do. The thing is, the whole origin of HOAs goes back to the 1950s and 60s with redlining. I mean, that's what it really was. HOAs were designed to. It was a racist design to prevent blacks from being able to buy. I mean, there were bylaws in HOA covenants saying that blacks and Mexicans or whatever else could not purchase a home in these neighborhoods. So the origins of it were built around racism in America. And,
Right.
And
Well, the interesting part is that the HOAs in that case, even then, should have been abolished. Was this before or after Fifth Amendment, or before or after
14th?
14th? Yeah.
this was after. I mean, again, this was in the
Yeah.
50s
Then
and
they
60s.
then they were illegal. They were unconstitutional. People should have challenged them.
I mean, they were, but again, they were still allowed to be made. I mean, and these bylaws still existed.
That's the weird part. Is like
But also, you got to
you're allowed to do things until somebody tells you you're not, basically.
yeah, basically,
Because and it has to go all the way up to the Supreme Court. Because that's literally unconstitutional.
because again, these aren't. Yeah, because it's a bit different because like
They're companies, though. By the way,
they're companies.
So
They're
they
not-
can
it's
easily
not a
be
government
slapped.
Organization. But again,
Yeah.
also with these HOAs, again, due to them being a racist institution of redlining, et cetera, trying to keep the poor and the blacks, and et cetera, the undesirables at that time for these people out. They had money. They had, all these white people living there paying these HOA fees and whatever else. I mean, by design, it was already a wealthy institution, a wealthy company, essentially.
Yeah, but so what? That doesn't stop
but
you
that
from getting
means
sued
you'd
by
have to-
UCLA.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, ACLU, but you would have to have the money and the time, or the organizations who was willing to defend that, or to take that to court, kind of thing.
Yeah, they exist. Well, also, you could take it to court, and then you just got to keep appealing. That's how it works.
Yeah, but I mean, you need lawyers and things. There's a whole.
Not to appeal.
there's
Appealing's free, baby.
You still need to be able to fill out the documents correctly.
I mean, you can do that.
I mean,
That
anybody
doesn't
can do it, but
require a
doesn't
law
necessarily-
degree.
doesn't necessarily- Yeah, anybody can do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that a judge will see your document and accept the document and say, yeah, this is valid, this is written correct. Because that's the thing. So in court, you have to say things a certain way. You have to do things a certain way. There are certain procedures that you have to do if you want things. Like I remember watching this video of a lawyer talking about one of the like saddest things he's seen in court. And he was a divorce lawyer, and it was a woman who was suing her abusive ex-husband, who he was paid to defend. Um, and she wanted to get into evidence the pictures of the abuse. And she had a public defender, and the public defender didn't know the procedure on how to enter into evidence the pictures. He tried to present it, and the judge is like, "No, you need to enter this into evidence." But he didn't. You have to say the magic words
It's
to the
during
court.
discovery. I
Or
believe.
no, this was. You can enter things after discovery.
Yeah, you can.
And this is what he wanted to do.
Um,
And you have to say the magic words to be able to like correctly format it and how to submit it to bring it into evidence. And this guy didn't know it.
well, that's a fault on the county for the public defender. That's a similar problem, but also different.
Yeah, but I mean,
They
justice
should know.
delayed is justice denied kind of thing. Like if
Agreed,
if
but-
all you have is the public defender, because this woman, she didn't work. She again, abusive, controlling husband, etc. That
Right.
you don't allow him
Also,
to work.
defender of
So-
what?
A public defender.
Why does she have a public defender? You don't
Because-
get public defenders unless it's a criminal case. I thought
It might have been public defender, might have been pro bono. I
pro
feel
bono
like
makes more sense because public.
I feel like
So
it was
you
a
only
public
get public defenders if it's a criminal. I don't know about civil because this is a civil case. Civil cases are different.
I'm trying to think if she was trying to get a restraining order against him.
He's still not criminal. Restraining
sure, but
orders are still civil.
I think you said a public defender, but anyways, regardless
Whatever.
of the facts, the public defender didn't know how to enter the evidence in. So this lawyer was just sitting there, like thinking to himself, you got to say the words, this particular phrase of words to get it submitted in evidence, and he didn't, and they didn't get it submitted in evidence, and they tried, and she lost the case.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
And he got and the abusive ex got away with it.
Yep.
So this lawyer, I mean, if you don't follow the right procedure, say the magic words, do the right things in the right order, in the right way, etc., then you don't get it. You don't get the evidence in. You don't get
Right.
et
But there's
cetera.
always somebody out there that will help you.
The funny thing
And
is
this sounds like somebody that was trying to, but they didn't know, which is unfortunate. Also should have been probably better trained if they were a public person or public defender. It's that's really bad that they didn't know that because that's something probably fairly basic,
Yeah.
which that would mean all of their cases. So I wonder, this is a different, kind of out of the topic, out of the theory. If that person didn't know to do that, theoretically, couldn't all of their other cases get thrown out because they were terrible or because they didn't know law, basically? That would be one of those things you could appeal. And
I mean,
try to
that's
push it.
so that's not knowing law. That's not knowing proper procedure.
That's
But,
law. It's a part of
Mm.
learning law. You have to learn how to do stuff in a courtroom. It's a part of it.
But well, I was gonna say something earlier though. Is that apparently a lot of lawyers and doctors now, they're actually just using Google to like look that stuff up. I'm surprised that he didn't just pull out his phone and like look at how do I do this real quick.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, so okay, but that person's free. But it's one of those things so these are professional services, especially doctors. I don't know about you, but I don't want a doctor to look on Google how to perform an operation on me before I get
Oh,
there.
no, it's-
because they spent 8 years plus, 8 years minimum ish in school to learn how to do this stuff. They shouldn't be looking stuff up. Now, I understand if they're like doing something adjacent or something that they don't exactly know a lot about, because that's the other thing too. Technically, as a doctor, you only learn what you can learn. It's like any other job, and then you have to learn on the job.
Well, and that's the thing too. Is like a lot of doctors. I mean, they'll try to do their best to look into medical journals and things of that nature, because there's always new advancements in medicine, new advancements in medical technology, new surgery procedures that are going on. So doctors try
new
to do
illnesses,
their best,
by
and
the
new
way.
illnesses. So I mean, a doctor will go out and will research, on medical journals and try and find, because a doctor doesn't know everything. They don't know every disease. They don't know every symptom of every disease. So they do their best to try and be like, I think it could be this or it could be this, and then so I won't fault them for looking into medical journals, like hell, even going to Google to be like, because I mean,
I imagine that it would just speed up the process because they can narrow it down like very quickly just by throwing it in a search engine.
Yeah.
The problem is that everything's death, everything's cancer. Like
It's all
the
Louis
meme-
Lupus.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
imagine there's probably like a specialized thing that like
So
like textbooks and shit.
IBM has IBM Watson, and their original design for it was to look through medical journals and use large language model processing to help doctors better find relevant information for the patients in need. And they found that Watson had a really surprisingly high success rate. I don't remember it now, but I think it was over 70 or 80%. It was very good at finding, looking at the patient's files, looking at their symptoms, looking at the medical information it had, and being able to properly correlate that information to a disease and relevant information about it. So that's been proven quite successful, and IBM's using IBM Watson in hospitals today to help doctors.
So it's like a ChatGPT kind of thing. Just
Yes.
more specialized.
It's more specialized for absolutely. It's solely focused and trained on the medical journals and such and things and medical diabetes.
I can't wait for my
databases.
robot doctor.
That's actually pretty awesome.
No, it is. It's really cool to see AI used in the medical industry, and it's been quite successful to my understanding.
AI has positive uses other than all the slop we have now.
Right.
Damn, who would have thought?
So,
I've seen what you've done with all the art bots.
You haven't seen what I've done. I don't think I showed you. It gets
You-
worse.
You've shown me some of it, and like I believe you when you say it gets worse.
I paid for like 4 months. I made hundreds of photos.
oh no.
You paid for 4 months and used all those credits in 1 week.
No. You pay monthly and you have infinite credits.
Oh.
The shitty part is they regenerate to the 10K because I was using a novel, and that's the thing is you don't go over 10K. So I literally just paid money for nothing because I wasn't using the credits. I still have a fuck ton of credits. On my
So you're using novel AI for this?
I was
It's like the
anime
internet
stuff, hentai. Let's go.
Internet might hate AI artwork, but it's fun just to mess around with.
Yeah.
We haven't used it, and we don't use it in any professional incapacity. We just put in prompts. It's like, hey, funny.
Well, see, that's the thing that people don't realize. It's used in professional capacities all the time. You know, like 90% of the logos people make are
I know,
just.
but it's not by us.
Yeah,
It's not
us.
by us.
I mean, I do. I don't give a shit.
Eh.
For things like the Bucky's thing, I'm pretty sure the person who I contacted who made mine just threw it into, Photoshop, not Photoshop, but was it InDesign has an AI that does it? Because I used it, me and Cherry used it, and it just, you tell it, what you want it to be, and you tell it what kind of logo you want, and it generates a bunch of shit. It already exists and it's already there.
I mean-
Same thing with the video stuff, which we don't do, or I don't do because of my stuff. I have 2019 or 2016, so it's too old.
Yeah.
But CapCut and many others, they all just do stuff automatically.
And that's the thing too that we've seen. Like I think we've seen in the latest Marvel's game, the
Rivals,
Marvel, yeah,
Marvel Rivals.
yeah, Marvel, yes. In the loading screens, a lot of that artwork that people have said, and I think the company has said themselves, is AI artwork. So we're seeing major companies use it, which of course makes sense because if they can just make art and not have to pay artists, then they're going to do that.
They're still probably paying artists to do that work, I think.
So
'Cause
one of
Yes.
the big things is that it looks like what they're doing is they're actually paying people there's like people that specialize in making prompts for those art.
Yep.
And then they pay an artist to go through and either redraw it or just like fix the things because the AI is not and AI fucks up everything.
Yeah.
So you have to go through and tweak it, especially proportions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are good, some of them are bad. It just depends. But the big thing is,
Bingies.
it helps
Yeah.
like gets workflow done better and faster, probably like what you're saying. So that's going to be the new thing. There is going to be a new like class of job that's just going to be AI, AI prompt generator or whatever.
I mean, you say there's going to be a new class that already exists today. Companies are hiring for AI prompt engineers.
I did see that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
But I'm saying it's going to become more common.
reality.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to exist. It's just currently baby stepping existing, but it's going to be
Yeah.
one of the next things. And then, like you said, there's going to be people that are kind of bad at art, like me. I can't draw worth a fuck, and I'm so bad that it's not worth the time and effort to try to practice personally. But what I can do is, I can do Photoshop reasonably okay, and so like I could do some of this AI stuff and then edit my own stuff, and there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something that also think about like all these people on like Twitter and X now.
It's still Twitter. Fuck it. I'm never calling it X.
Nope.
But
What
they
are you
get
supposed to call the tweets on X, by the way? Is it Z's?
I don't know.
Right?
I think it's
But
6.
Nobody knows.
But like, there's so many people that are just like, oh, I'm not going to do anything that supports this AI art bullshit. And it's just like, dude, all these big companies, like even
Let's move to Blue Sky, folks.
like there's no like these big companies, they don't give a single fuck about you.
No, not at all.
No.
Why would they? They
It's
don't
like
need to.
you're
AI is there, they pay
fighting
for it.
you're fighting this fight against fucking air, and like every company is going to adopt this. They do not care about your opinion at all.
Correct.
Yeah.
Also, it's polarizing, but like I said, there's some positives with AI. I mean, I'm against it partially in our industry, mine and his, and IT, just because of what's happening to him and Jerry.
I take
Just
offense to that.
The laziness.
Listen, I've been doing this. I've been in this industry for 12 years.
The only thing I can say is that it will make the shitty people that we work with better, hopefully, if they use it. But that's the problem;
they
they're not even
don't.
going to use it.
They don't.
But I mean, yeah, that's the problem. Is you're gonna my problem with it is people are gonna learn how to work AI and not work the job.
Yeah.
So that's I understand using it to help you. It's fine. Using it to like try to figure out some coding or something is also fine because it's good at that.
Yeah.
And then it's the other thing too for people not double checking the work is bad. There are people that like take it as gospel and just run with it, which is bad. Don't do that. And then there's people that are also putting in all sorts of information into these things, which you also shouldn't do. You shouldn't even do that when you ask for help on forums too, because it's always been a thing.
I mean, absolutely. AI privacy and making sure you're sanitizing your data so you're not inadvertently releasing proprietary or company information is very important. I will say this. I mean, AI. I've pretty solidly integrated AI into my processes because it helps. Because that's the thing too. Is like I'll use Bing AI if I have a question because, I mean, its ability to take my question, search through the internet, and find me relevant links it's pretty good at it. It's pretty good at it. I mean, because it's it's just looking at Bing, it's summarizing everything, it's giving me the relevant information and the links to it.
Even
And
though
then
Bing's the worst one. Bing, the search engine, by
Bing,
the
the
way.
search engine is the worst. Their AI is pretty good, and then I can go click on those links and go directly to the source and get deeper information that way. So it's just a quick way for me to if I have an error, boom, type it in there. It spits out here's some information. And sometimes it fixes it. Sometimes it gives me direct links.
Except if it's Microsoft general errors.
Yeah, but I mean, I work in Linux, so it's pretty. The only thing that does is fucking send me to Red Hat Access. It's always in there somewhere.
I mean, thinking about it, Microsoft really doesn't have a reason to care about Bing at all.
What do you mean?
I mean,
That's their
It
competition
just
to
kind of
Google.
exists.
Huh?
It's very hard to compete with Google at this point.
They have to do it. That they're doing it to do it.
yeah.
That's it.
I mean,
They want to do it. It's the
they
same
want to,
reason.
they need to. It's all about advertising and getting that information, that
Right.
big data.
Also, the other thing is, they have their own browser. They have to do it. What's funny is it's Chromium at this point, which
Yeah, everything's
which
Chromium.
is the biggest meme.
Opera's Chromium. Fucking Edge is Chromium. Everything else is Chromium. The only thing that's not Chromium at this point is Firefox, and they're 87% supported by Google. So, yeah,
yeah, that's gonna be bad when that goes through.
if that goes through.
If that goes through.
Didn't they used to be supported by Yahoo or something like that?
Ooh,
Firefox.
No,
no.
they've always been owned
always
by
been Google.
the Mozilla company, which is a foundation.
It's a-
charity foundation.
it's a 501c3, I think, or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a
It's a charity.
it's a charity. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All your donations to Firefox, folks, are tax writable on your taxes at the end of the year.
Tax write offable.
Wait, if I donate to money to fucking Wikipedia, is that tax writable?
Yes, it is.
I think so. Yeah.
The
they're
Wikipedia Media Group
501c3.
is a charity.
If you guys want a
I love
tax
it, sorry.
write-off, all those companies that prompt you to is like, please donate to me. That's a tax write-off.
Yeah,
Donate.
absolutely. I mean, give support.
Internet Archives, one of the biggest ones,
Oh,
needs
yeah.
donations.
Give those organizations some money. Wikimedia, Internet Archive, Firefox. I mean, these companies, have supported us for years, providing us free information, without asking anything from us. But they're, donations here and there for a couple bucks. Support your local businesses that have helped you.
Love he says local about online stuff.
I mean, it's local to my heart.
Well, as someone who lives on the internet, yes, it is local.
Oh God. Sir, I'm gonna need you to touch grass.
You live on the internet too. I don't want to fucking hear it.
I know what you're talking about. I actually leave the house, sir.
Sir, you're like
Ooh.
60-70% online.
I actually still leave the house every weekend at least, almost, or as many times as I can.
And he's been dragging me out with him.
Yeah, well, that was this weekend. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't go to the shop, and I realized that after I stared at the order page, I saw all those fittings. I was like, oops, because we have more business now. And I really need to get that other truck off that other lift.
Yeah.
Well, you know, whatever. I was too busy.
Right.
You're about to have to spend like a whole week up there just doing shop stuff, sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be there Thursday. That's right,
Yeah.
or
yeah.
Wednesday night. I guess
Yeah.
I'll fix it Wednesday night.
There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. No, I know, but I can't go to the fuck or anything. It
Yeah, I
won't
don't know.
swap. It's like it locks itself out,
Weird.
which is annoying because I see the bubbles.
Yeah, but the bubbles are always there, even though there are no other pages.
What the fuck? Yeah, like it locks it up or something.
Yeah, weird. I guess because we're recording, but
Right.
well, whatever.
I mean, do we have like a timer or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been going for about
Going
an
for
hour
an
and a
hour
half,
and
an hour
5
and
minutes.
5.
Almost said half.
I almost said half.
Hour and a half?
Hour and 5. God
Oh,
damn it.
I thought we've been going a lot longer than that shit.
No,
It feels like we've been sitting here for a fucking bit.
Right?
Yeah, it does. I was surprised as I was staring at the number every so often. I looked down at it. I'm like, neat.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think this test has been going pretty good. I mean, I think everything's worked out well.
Yeah, no, I mean, we gotta.
Good lighting,
Stick with
like
stuff.
the mics.
So you guys want to talk about the most controversial subject that just recently happened with that CEO?
Oh, yeah,
Oh
sure.
yeah, absolutely. We should
for
talk.
sure.
We should absolutely talk about that. Absolutely. So, for those who are living under a rock right now, recently, I think it was 3-4 days ago,
Something like that, yeah.
the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, the insurance group portion of it, was gunned down in the streets of New York in front of a Hilton.
Oh, interesting. Oddly specific.
Yeah, that's what it was. So his gunman shot him four times, with the gunman getting away on a bike, escaping to Central Park, and has been in the wind for the past couple days.
It's like we've talked about this like relatively at length, like off of this, but like it'd just be great to let because I feel like we have more like controversial views on this, which are
I don't think anybody
No.
has sympathy for the fucking CEO of UnitedHealthcare Group.
fuck that guy.
Exactly.
Oh, we're all just sitting here. It's just like, yes, CEO murder, good. I hope they never
I
fucking.
wouldn't say
Hold
that.
on, I wouldn't say
I wouldn't
good.
say that.
Well, I meant like with how corrupt that fucking guy was. Fuck that guy. I hope they never find him. I hope they never find the assassin.
Was he corrupt? I
I'm-
don't think necessarily. I don't. Corruption implies something completely different. Now, was he a good guy?
Ethical,
Probably not. Yeah,
immoral.
ethics. Yeah,
For sure. Because
yeah, but no, he's running a company. The stock number must go up. You got to do whatever.
Go
you
up.
Number must go up.
So under his administration of UnitedHealthcare Group, he introduced an AI, which had a 90% error rate when it came to processing claims. So it would deny.
Error? Question mark?
Yeah. So it was wrong in denying claims.
Oh,
So it denied claims 90% of times, which led the United Healthcare to make many billions of dollars above its normal for the past couple of years. It also led them to have one of the highest denial rates in the entire industry. And I believe it's about 32 or 36%, somewhere there. So every other health insurance company has a lower denial rate than United Healthcare. And this was the man who introduced that AI and that denial rate.
I mean, that was probably all according to plan to him.
Oh, absolutely, because
100%.
the more they can deny, delay, and depose it, deny, delay, defend.
It's like they get you stuck in this process where it's just like, I mean,
isn't it deny, defend, depose?
Yes. So, for reference for that, deny, defend, depose was written on the shell casings of the bullets that hit the United Healthcare CEO that he was shot with. But it actually comes from a book called Deny, Delay, Defend. And the basic point of it is to
Bring that up, Jamie, for our viewers to see the book.
bring it up in post.
So so the whole point of that is the insurance company will always by default deny your claims. Then once you try to appeal that, then they will delay them. And once you try and get that appeal, they will defend against your appeal until eventually you either stop fighting or they lose. But either way, it has cost you time. It has saved them, time and money by delaying your care. You possibly get worse. You possibly die. It has happened many times.
I was about to say that, like, if they delay it long enough, you might just be dead from whatever you've been trying to go through. Your family's probably going through the process for you too. Like, say, cancer is a good example of it. Like, you're
Biggest
like,
one.
you need that surgery, you need it now, and then, well, now you're dead because it took too long to get processed.
Not even surgery, just treatment.
Absolutely, just treatment. I mean, we've seen, and I've read.
Let up, bud.
I've read numerous stories in the past few days of people who have, had these issues with health insurance companies. I remember one case of this woman who had cancer, and her doctor had prescribed her a medicine to use to help her with her symptoms, and so the doctor sends the claim up. The claim is immediately denied, with the insurance company saying, "We're requiring you to take this other medicine that is not what your doctor recommended, is not what he prescribed, but is what we want you to take, and you must take it until it fails. And then once it fails, we might consider."
We have more money in this company, so please, we're going to give you this instead.
Exactly. So we might consider letting you use the other medicine. So she
Or
had
it's
to,
cheaper.
yeah,
Not more money in the company necessarily, but it's all cheaper for the insurance company.
exactly.
They got a business deal with them.
Yeah,
Probably.
well, they do because they run the pharmacy benefit managers. A lot of them. So she had to take this this medicine that was inferior. It did not work for her. Sorry, it wasn't cancer. She was having seizures. But so she was
Which is also really hard to treat in the first place, by the way.
Yes. So she spent a year and a half, 2 years dealing with this medicine, dealing with these seizures, and when it finally proved it failed, she was able to get on the correct medicine, and what do you know? It worked. So she went through 2 years of suffering from seizures and every other bullshit that's associated with all of that, when she could have been fine for that 2 years if they had just allowed her to use the medicine her doctor had prescribed her.
To be fair, well, not to be fair, but what happens is that happens a lot with anybody with a chronic illness.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's a ton of
It happened
different
to me.
different medical companies that have different products, plenty of different products. And the biggest thing is, finding what works for you. And that goes for almost anything realistically. And the weirder part is some insurance companies will only, allow or only pay for A and B medicine, but then there's like C, D, E, and F and G medicines. And, sometimes you need G, or, you go all the way through, and they won't even they won't even accept those even after the other ones fail.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that happened to me. But I mean, personally, I was on Ozempic for a number of years to help with my diabetes, and it worked very successfully. And then randomly, I get a new doctor because my old one left, and they then deny my claim. I'd been on this medicine for nearly 2 years at this point, and it had been showing successful results. And they just denied it out the blue. So I was fighting with the health insurance companies for 3 months to be like, I was on this, I need this, it worked, give it back to me. And then they're like, well, you need to be taking all of these medicines, and we need to make sure that they don't work for you. And then once we know that they don't work for you, then you can get this other medicine that you were already on for 2 years. So that's what I had to do. I went on, had to go to metformin, and once I got that, and then they're like, and it didn't work, so they're like, okay, cool, now you can have your Ozempic. So I mean, like, it fucked me up. My A1C went up from like 6.1 up to like 7.3. It really backtracked my medical what's what I'm looking for, like my health quite a bit. So I'm better now that I'm on it, and it's worked. But still,
He's better for it.
but still, it's having to fight for something that I paid this insurance company for, and I a lot of money, and what do? They just deny me because they don't think I need it, even if I've already been on it and they've already been approving claims for it. So they're just fucking temperamental assholes.
It's always the joke. It's funny. It's funny that since we're talking about insurance, that insurance is talked about so negatively. Even in fact, remember recently how I went in for that sleep study that was $2,000, which is painful.
Right.
The lady there that was working at the wellness center, she was saying that she doesn't even pay for insurance. You know, I was talking about it, and I was like, bro, fucking $2,000 sucks. But that maxes out my out of pocket and everything, so everything else is like cheap or free for the rest of the year. Anyway, she was telling me she doesn't even pay for insurance, and she works with the hospital. You know, I thought she got a insurance for cheaper because of things I know about people that work for them, but because she's a subcontractor for a different company that rents out space and does stuff with them, she doesn't. Anyway, weird.
Right.
But basically, she was saying that she doesn't pay or believe in insurance, and she wouldn't have it other than her boyfriend has it because she believes insurance is a scam, which a lot of people do. And for some people who get constantly denied and essentially get no help, it kind of is, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, you also got to, going on that subject line, the number one cause of bankruptcy in America is medical bankruptcy. And that's a lot of times people who have insurance. Because, I mean, that's the thing. If you get stuck with a major catastrophic injury, if you have cancer or something of that nature that costs a lot of money between hospital stays and everything else, I mean, you're talking about wiping out. You have insurance that you pay for, and your life savings gone. You have spent tens of thousands of dollars. You are in debt to the hilt. You're mortgaging homes, etc. You are going bankrupt with insurance because of these long-term diseases. So these insurance companies know this. They just don't care. They don't give a damn. And that's the thing. Nobody has a positive experience with their fucking health insurance company. Everybody knows somebody who's been denied their coverage, who's died because of it, or something of that nature. And going back to what started this all, nobody's going to have sympathy for the fucking UnitedHealthcare CEO being shot in broad daylight, because that man is a murderer. That man, the UnitedHealthcare CEO, has killed people. They have denied their claims. They have defended against their claims. They have killed people. He is probably one of America's biggest mass murderers. I will say this.
Like, even if he didn't kill them directly, he definitely killed them indirectly.
Absolutely. His with the whole introduction of AI, the immediate claims of denial. Remember, I think I read the article. UnitedHealthcare is denying claims in 1.2 seconds. Folks, 1.2 seconds is not enough time to open up a PDF. But they are just, again, automatically denying everything that comes across their table, because they know that they can deny it and it'll save them money and et cetera in that nature. So they've killed people. He has killed people. So you will see no sympathy from me.
The bigger meme is sometimes, as far as hospitals and things go, not having insurance is cheaper than having insurance. Back on the original or the spinoff here, when we're talking about cost of insurance and whether it's a scam or not, the uninsured discounts for hospital stays and ER is wild. Sometimes it's kind of funny.
It would be funny if we were if we switched over to like the free healthcare system of a lot of other countries and just watch all those people go bankrupt.
I live for that day that we have actual
Not gonna happen,
socialized
unfortunately.
medicine where we're not having to deal with paying for copays and out-of-pocket medicine costs, and everybody in this country is supported, and there are no deaths from lack of health care.
Yeah, it's like in theory our system works, but problem is that
It works for the rich.
it goes back to people being greedy fucks, and that's the only reason it doesn't work is because greed.
Well, it's because of the capitalistic idea of
Exactly.
everything. You got to make money in whatever you do, and it's all about making money.
American healthcare is pay to win. If you have the money, you can win. You will get your services. You will get your care. Full stop.
So some of that problem has to do with insurance as a free person isn't reasonable enough. Like, so for instance, the only way insurance is reasonable is through your companies, and like 9 out of 10 companies pay for absolute dog shit, the worst insurance
Absolutely.
possible, which is part of the problem. But they offer insurance, so they're cool, right? And they get a kickback.
Yeah,
Tax kickback,
you
something?
get tax credits for providing health insurance to your employees.
So yeah, and so they provide what is cheapest on them, which is the worst, and that's what most people get. And people don't know.
I mean, shit. Even if they subsidize your health insurance, it still can be crap. When I used to work for Raytheon, I paid about $100, or maybe $150 per month, and
that's extremely cheap.
Well, yeah, because Raytheon was subsidizing, and they subsidized it a lot. You know how much Raytheon was paying?
That's like 75% or something, I think.
Raytheon was paying nearly $400 a month for my health insurance, and my deductible was still like $4,000. I still had an HSA. My out-of-pocket maximum was still $10,000. So they were subsidizing the cost to a large degree, and that health insurance was still fucking shitty. I'm paying.
Well, that's because that's what they chose for health insurance.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're gonna pay that much anyways,
well, it's part of whatever company. It's probably because, as you probably both know, somebody from, I guess, the insurance company or HR came down, sat down, was like, or whoever. So that's another part of the problem. So it depends on who your benefits, because these companies hire out benefits companies. Like that's what I have at Crash. I've been working with
what I work with.
Right. And so like these benefit companies, get in here, talk to these people, and then for some reason they get sold on it. Don't know why. See, I don't live in the mind of C-suite execs because their minds don't seem to work like normal people's. No. Not in the positive sense. The amount of stupid shit C-suite people tell me to do or have told me to do in the past with other jobs that make no fucking sense, like not even common sense, not even any sense at all. And then, especially when you warn them that things are bad or something's going to go bad, they don't care. No. And then it goes bad, and then it's a problem, and then they ask why that happened. And, when they're the smart ass like me that's like, hey, man, I told you so. And here's this email to prove so.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, anger, harumph. But yeah.
It's just wild to see that because, like, I pay for my own health insurance right now, and I'm paying about $438.
No, you don't. Your company pays.
My company pays for it, and it's paying about $438 a month for my health insurance. And it is the best. It's pretty good. It's not a PPO, it's an HMO, so I am more limited network. But, the deductible is like $250. My out-of-pocket max is like $1,000 something. So, if I get majorly injured or something, as long as I'm going to an in-network hospital, then basically everything will be covered.
Yeah, mine's not too bad, the one I picked. But the problem is I have to pay more on through my insurer, my primary company with the insurer. I'm waiting to look into and get into, like you said, my company providing me health care. Because that'll be interesting. I'll get to see, on that side of the fence and actually be able to pick whatever the fuck plan I want.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see dozens of different plans and, get all the breakdowns of them and be able to pick and choose. Because it'll give you also a breakdown of how much they cost, the premiums and such.
100%. Also, that's another thing. Speaking of which, part of it's because people don't know how insurance works. And it's probably purposefully convoluted. But, it's one of those things like with taxes and everything. Like schools should teach people all these things so that, even if we have these terrible systems for now, people can learn to pick better. Because that's another thing, too. A lot of people don't pick the correct coverage because they don't understand how the coverage works. And they get people like me that pick coverage. Most of the time, I don't need it. This year, I used it all. Like I said, $2,000 for one fucking lab is a lot of goddamn money. But, most people, normally every year, I don't use any of my coverage because I only go to, like, the doctor once or twice a year if I get sick and need, like, anti-inflammatories or antibiotics. I only need it like once a year. But thankfully, since we've been in the house and I've been remote, I haven't had to deal with anything, so I don't need it.
Yeah. But I mean, insurance by its very name is not for when you is for when you need it, not well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're going for there, but there's a whole phrase for it. It's like, you don't know when you'll need it kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you get into a car accident, not like you planned on it, but the insurance is there to be like, hey, you're injured. We should pay for it. Not that we will, but we should.
You mean the insurance there is to deny you?
Yeah. So the insurance can deny you.
Or, for my auto insurance, they're there to fucking not deny, but to chingling, as my mom would say, but, nickel and dime you every way. That was the worst experience. It's weird because the first time I totaled my car, they paid out for that Genesis, even though I had gap coverage and I didn't need it. But then when I owned that truck, they didn't want to pay for that truck at all. And I had to fight with them every step of the way to get nothing.
I mean, I imagine that like back when I had the Camry, if I totaled that thing, the insurance would fight me on that because there's not a solid value on that car.
Oh, there is. Did you hear the story where I told? Did I tell you how many miles away they pulled out of their ass a diesel truck to comp mine from?
No.
1,500 miles.
Damn, they had to go to like a whole other fucking state.
But almost a whole nother country, brother. 1,500 miles is pretty far.
Right, yeah.
Or you forget we're in Texas,
We
in
are
the center of
center.
Texas. So the 1,500 miles mean they went to bumfuck ass either fucking Maine or probably Washington. Either one of the two. But yeah,
I don't even. Yeah.
when they produced the thing, it's funny because there's only one on this list. So they told me originally that I had to produce like dealerships that had a similar tier of truck, like similar mileage, similar make model, similar year. And surprisingly, for this 1998 fucking diesel truck, anybody out there likes diesels, Ford F-250 Super Duty 7.3, like really well sought after, good engine, good truck. In fact, that one was really nice and immaculate. Paid a good bit of money. It was $8,500. You went with me and you saw it.
Yeah.
And so that got stolen and it got chopped. And so, the insurance came back to me after I went through everything. In my police report, they found it. But the insurance company waited for a month to make sure it was gone before they paid me out. And anyway, they made the move to pay me out. Good. Well, then they come back and offer me I think $4,500 was the first bid. They were compared to gasoline trucks. I was like, well, okay, this is the problem. These are gas trucks, not diesel. Diesels are worth a lot more, and especially down here. And the lady was like, okay, can you find me comps? And I was like, I immediately, while I'm talking to her on the phone, fucking Googling. And I immediately find fucking listings for dealerships near us, like within 20 miles or 50 miles, where they're like $16,000 for the 300,000 mile truck, which that had F-250, 7.3, long bed, like pretty much full matching. And so I gave them, and they did that thing. They're like, give me 5 of them or whatever. So I gave them a list of 5. Super easy to find. They're all like 15 to 10K, minimum, which is crazy also for these trucks, but it's dealerships. And so, I had sent them that, and they're like, oh, well, we'll get back with you. A week later, literally at the time frame that they max out to get back with me, they come back to me and say, oh, this is what we found with our research. And again, it shows at the top of their search screenshot or whatever they use, the mileage. And it's like distance, 1,500 miles. And I was like, what the fuck? And they found that it was like $7,000 or something.
Eesh.
And I was like, what the fuck? And so then they gave me like 6.5. And I was like,
Dude, that should be illegal because that's not our market. That's somewhere with probably lower cost of living and shit.
I mean, true.
The
Yeah,
money's
yeah,
now,
absolutely.
and the money's not worth the same there.
True.
Yeah,
And I
cool.
tried. Apparently, one of the things you need to do if something like that ever happens to anybody in the future, you have to hire probably a third party adjuster, and they fight with them like why that's BS, And
Good to know.
You remember Chris Small?
Yeah.
The guy that he does insurance stuff now for
Oh.
cars.
that would have been nice to know fucking a year ago, brother.
Well,
Or
now you
like
know.
6 months.
If you
7
ever
months.
if you ever need car insurance shit, he's one of the guys that goes out and gives the quotes on the shit.
This man always giving good information. Way the fuck longer past its due. He's like, oh, I thought I told you. No, he doesn't. He doesn't bring shit up.
Yeah.
It's like I
Fuck
thought I found that out back when because I was texting him when I first got the general manager job over at Mr. Jim's.
Okay.
Nice. Well, cool. Good for him. He deserved it. Hopefully he's doing good.
'Cause I don't know if he's in a position where he could actually help you if you're in that situation again.
It just depends on what he does.
Yeah,
insurance, whatever you said is generic.
It's he's in that field, but I don't know how useful he would actually be in that type of situation.
The thing is, with my job, I know adjusters and I could find people. But again, the big thing is you want to find an independent adjuster. There are people that do this. They help fight your insurance company for you for shit like this. Exactly. Where you're like, hey, there's a discrepancy on how much this should cost. And so they'll fight them. The worst part is, what is it? Like I told you, I had just put new speakers in there. They were like $100. And then they're like, okay, well, we'll comp you if you show us a receipt. Okay. So I have to go find the receipt in my email that shows the money I spent. And those speakers are, no joke, literally less than a week old because the truck got stolen a week after I fucking bought those, installed them, and then drove back up here. And they wanted to only give me $25.
Not only that, but you can you should have inflated the you should have You didn't own the shop back then, did you?
Huh? No, I've owned the shop the whole time.
Yeah, you could have set yourself up a quote for like installing the speakers too.
I could have, but here's the problem. The speakers were fucking $80. They only cost me $25. It doesn't matter. And as they told me, it doesn't matter what happened or what installed, nothing. Like, well, this is what we pay on average. And I was like, but well, then why the fuck did you make me fucking show you a receipt?
Also, if it's only on average, that means they can pay above average.
Right? Well, again, the biggest problem is you wanted a receipt? I gave you a receipt. Why?
So do you still pay insurance with this company?
Of course not.
Of course not.
Of course not. I let that shit lapse, apparently.
Would you like to give a shout out to the people? What company that was?
Progressive. They're not very progressive. Sometimes.
Exactly.
Like I said, they were good the first time my car got wrecked. For some reason, they were bad this time. I really don't know. And maybe that has something to do with the person you get as your claims person.
Probably so, yeah. I mean,
They probably get extra money for how much money they deny people. Apparently, I've heard that that's a thing.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, yeah, I've heard that's a thing for sure.
This is the anti-ad for this episode. Fuck Progressive.
Agreed.
Which is
Don't
funny
you
'cause they're-
fucking dare.
They're my current insurer.
Oh, are they?
Yes, I currently have Progressive because they have the best rates for the
That's-
level of coverage.
That's why I was in there in the first place. I might go back to them because they have good rates. I don't think they'll take me back right now
Right.
because, I owe them money.
Yeah, because I was with them, then they got a bit more expensive. I went to Tesla insurance because I have a Tesla. I had a Model 3, and it was very affordable. I think it was like 90 at the lowest to like 130 at the top. Very affordable. Like nobody could beat it. And then I got a new car. So they're like, so we're going to charge you like $230 a month, $250, $270. I'm just like, fuck that shit.
It's so bullshit, these insurance companies. Like, you put so much into them, and then as soon as something actually bad goes wrong, it's like, well, what happened to like the 10 grand that I've been putting into this company over time? Where the fuck is all that money? Oh, it's ours now. It's in the CEO's pocket. Fuck you.
Yeah.
True.
I mean,
Shareholders' pockets. But yeah,
exactly. Number must go up.
number must go up.
It's in the stockholders' pockets.
Yeah, that's what I said. Shareholders, stockholders, it's the same thing. Same.
All the same thing.
Yep.
But it's expensive out there, folks. Everything has gotten so much more expensive, whether it's cars, car insurance. I mean, shit.
Cost of living is bullshit.
I mean, cost of living. I mean, the source of it, for the large part, is greedflation, a term that the fucking mainstream media and like business, like journals, have tried to deny is a real thing.
Oh, it's definitely a real thing, and the bubble's gonna fucking pop.
There is no bubble. It's just money. It's just free real estate.
Sir, you don't even know what cost of living is. It's pretty hard to know cost of living when you have no money and no job.
You know, the funny thing is that back when I lived in an apartment in Michigan, it was probably about the same price that I'm paying. Should be paying now. And that was for like the whole apartment. Like the cost of living down here is kind of ridiculous.
Well, I mean, this is a major city, so cost of living would by default would be higher.
Oh, this
okay.
was
Cost of living went up where you live too.
Right.
Probably is like that was back when I lived in Midland, Michigan. That's like where Dow Chemical and shit is.
Yeah. So I mean, the cost of living up here, I think the average one bedroom in the DFW area, I believe, costs over $1,000. I think it's like $1,100, $1,200.
Yeah.
So a single one bedroom apartment is $1,200, $24,000 a year.
Isn't it like 14 or 16 for like a decent one?
Yeah. It also just depends. Like I feel when I got up here like 5-6 years ago, my apartment was like $980. It was pretty good. It was a big apartment. I didn't mind it. The management was good.
I think we split like 900 something on the first apartment too.
I believe my rent like never really I think my share of the rent there was like I want to say 650 to 700.
Yeah. So
Oh, that was 1,200 for the 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
That was 2-bedroom. We had a 2x2.
yeah, and this was like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
But
The house was cheaper. The house was like 1,200, I think.
I know.
For both.
yeah,
It's fucking stupid.
Not this house. I mean,
the last test they were at.
yeah.
Yeah, because I think rent there was like between the two of us, it was like a 700 each split or something like that.
Yep.
And then went down whenever we got a
As we got more nerds, it got cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's one of those questions you have to ask yourself. if an average apartment in the DFW metro is already costing $1,200 a month or $24,000 a year, how are you expected to survive on $15 an hour, on $12 an hour, on
No, sir.
$10 an hour?
No, you're wrong. On $7.25.
On $7.25, the Texas state minimum, because there are some other states out there that have actually, I mean, fuck, Louisiana or Mississippi, we're losing out to them, or Missouri, one of the two, whatever, doesn't fucking matter. They're both shit states for the most part.
Missouri, I think, recently actually voted for increase. So
Yeah, Missouri had it passed a bill by citizens' ballot to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour over the next like 3-4 years. So they did it, and we have not done it here. Because that's the one thing too. Texas, they're like, oh yeah, we're small government. You know what they do not allow us to do? We are not allowed to do citizen ballot initiatives. We are not allowed to say, hey, we see a problem here as the people, and we want to bring it forward so that way the rest of the state can vote on it and have an actual direct representative democracy by the people.
You know what would happen if we did? State ag Ken Paxton would go fucking sue everything. Is it Paxton still?
Yeah, it's Paxton.
Yeah, the governor. I mean, not the governor. The
Attorney General.
The Attorney General, the AG. Yeah, he sues everything.
Yeah, he would. If we even had that, he would take that to the Texas Supreme Court, and they would use whatever bullshit he wanted to knock it down.
That man's wild. The fucking shit he sues for is dumb as shit. Like, a lot of it.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I normally don't get out and vote. I did the thing. I voted this year against a lot of the incumbents because I've lived with all of these people most of my life, except for Paxton. Paxton's fairly new. But, I mean, I've lived with Governor Wheels for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Ted Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wanted these people the hell out of here.
I mean, you got to consider, folks, for the state of Texas, Republicans have been in control for the state of Texas for the past 30 years, and nothing has gotten better here. But yet every year they always claim the Democrats are trying to do X, Y, and Z, and that's why you don't have X, Y, and Z. But it's like, they're the ones running the show. They have been in control. They do all the things that they want to do for the most part. So, obviously, they're lying to your faces, but people are so electorally ignorant, the voters do not care to do research or even the barest minimum. But they keep going out there and they keep voting for these same people who hate them, who want to hurt them and destroy their lives. They're voting against their best interests by voting these people and keeping them in office.
I can't say that necessarily. I can't agree with that exactly. But I will say the people that are there need to go. I don't know, if they were replaced by other Republicans, it could be better. I mean, I don't know. Same thing, even Democrats. You give somebody else a chance. The thing is the people that are in there are not good, and they should go.
The common consensus that I've seen is that the reason why people don't vote blue here is because they don't want this to turn into California.
Which is fair. California sucks. So I understand that.
It would not even be California because culturally we're different from California, even if we were to vote blue, realistically speaking.
I mean, all the rich people are starting to move over here too. So it's kind of slowly turning into.
Well, that's the thing. The Californians and such who are moving over here are conservative Californians who, came to Texas because it's conservative, and they vote red because it helps them. Because also you got to imagine, Californians who come over here have money. And what does money do? It keeps together with other money. That's why they keep voting in these people who will make sure that their taxes are low or get cut, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they came here for a reason, and they know exactly they're doing what benefits them. And also pricing out other Texans for homes.
Right. Also, on top of that, they just didn't like where they were geographically, the rules and laws that were being made, which is fair. A lot of laws are crazy over there. Especially for a lot of things that I like. Cars. I mean, especially guns, but cars even. There's some... California has some ridiculous law structure.
California is not American.
I mean, if you can get in trouble for it, you can get in trouble for it.
They are the number one most populous state in America. Texas is second, but they are the first. So
yeah, clearly. But everyone else says that Texas represents America.
I think that's just biased because you're in Texas.
Oh no, like if
Externally,
you
it
go on,
does
if
as
you
well.
if you look around online, like the number
I
one,
mean,
like
we have
other,
good media. We have good branding as Texas.
yeah, that's what I'm
Sure,
saying.
we do. I won't dispute that. But those people who don't live in Texas, they don't know Texas. They see it. They see the glitz and the glamour. They see the pictures. They see the videos. They don't know what it's actually like to be here in Texas. So that's just
It's
propaganda. That's media.
it's well, I mean, it's like apparently we're the number one state for like tourism and shit because like outside of the country looking in, Texas is like the definition of U.S.
Yeah, again, because we have good branding. We have good media. It's like, I mean, that's for my opinion, that's the real biggest thing is we're good at branding.
Good.
Doesn't necessarily mean we're good. We're
No.
just good at branding.
Now we're the best. Doesn't matter. The rest are the worst.
We are the United States.
I'm not gonna say that, but we are the best. We are the best state in the union. The Lone Star State. Thank you very much.
The 1-star state.
Yeah, Lone Star State. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, 1-star. Yeah.
Yeah, Lone Star.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
We only need 1 star.
Yeah,
That's how good we are.
Yeah, we're just better than everybody else.
Correct.
Yeah, 1 out of 5. Yep.
Yeah, it's got 5 points. 1 star. Yep, we're the best.
I mean, personally, there's so much of this country to see.
No, there's definitely a lot to see. But that's the meme that anytime people try to tell me like what can't you see, or what, like going out of the state to go see other things, you can see everything here. You can see deserts, you can see beaches, you can see mountains, you can see what is it? What else is there? You see a lot of shit here. Huh?
Yeah, sure. There's lots of
Everyone
various
forgets.
geographic, natural
Yeah.
things. But I mean, to talk about landmarks and such. I mean,
Well, yeah, but there's landmarks all over. What I'm saying is, a lot of times people say they don't like Texas, and they like, they talk about geography, and I just shit on them because I'm like, you can get realistically, you can get everything in Texas.
Sure.
It's not as good, big, or whatever, but I mean, a lot of places. There's a lot of picturesque, beautiful places in Texas.
No, I won't dispute that.
The only thing we
Texas has
can't
a lot
get
of
here is
natural
weed.
beauty for as long as it's going to exist.
You can get it. It's just legal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's legal inside a lot of the major cities in larger degrees. Although Ken Paxton's
Well,
kept
it's
trying to kill all
not
that.
necessarily legal. It's decriminalized.
I mean,
if you're caught with it.
that means it's legal.
No. Legal and decriminalized are two different things. Because decriminalized just means that they aren't enforcing. The laws are still on the books. They're just saying we're not going to enforce them.
Yeah,
Which Ken
yeah, so it's
Paxton is
legal.
suing.
Yeah, which Ken
It's
Paxton
different from legal, which is you are legally allowed to take this.
Well,
One is-
technically, no matter where in the United States you are, it's illegal,
yes, because it is federally
even if it's
legal.
quote unquote legal by the state. So,
But it is the DEA is currently holding what's what we're looking for?
council, something words.
They're holding meetings right
Yeah.
now to talk about
decriminalize
rescheduling, not decriminalizing, rescheduling, because
Mhm.
that is still not legalization. And that's the thing too. In my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, it should just be taken off the registry because
Yeah.
it's not a controlled substance. It doesn't need to be regulated as one. Just let people use it as like alcohol. Regulate it like alcohol in that sense,
Yeah,
If
100%.
someone gets caught, driving while high, then counted as a DWI or whatever.
Or DUI, under influence.
Yeah, under influence or intoxication,
It's
whatever.
the same thing. I think they're the same.
Etc. And treat it like that. If somebody's on high at a job, then reprimand them as such. Treat it like alcohol and regulate and tax it like such.
It shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. I don't know if you should be fired necessarily unless you cause an
whatever,
accident.
whatever their company.
Well, because that's the thing is a lot of companies, while they will like hand slap you for alcohol, they'll just outright fire you if you have been smoking, or if they make you take a drug test and it's found in your system. They'll just outright fire you, which is
which has been unfortunate considering that it stays in your system for a while, at least detectable by these drug tests.
it's like a week, I think, for
Yeah.
normal piss tests,
So I mean, if you smoked up, the last night,
unless you smoke all the time.
Oh yeah, then
It's in there for a while. It's like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Once they get through these meetings, and they're probably going to lower it to a schedule from a schedule 1 to a schedule 3. The thing is, schedule 3, it's still going to be a controlled substance. That means even if you wanted to try it, you would still need to go to a doctor and get a prescription and go through all the rigmarole, and then you couldn't simply if you wanted to, you couldn't just dispose of it. You have to take it to certain. There's a whole bunch of rules and laws and regulations around it being a controlled substance that even lowering it in the schedule doesn't solve. Because like the biggest thing is that um, marijuana shops and such, they only operate in cash because they don't have access to the banking system. Um, because federal law says they can't do it.
Hold on a second. What do you mean?
So you're right. So a normal dispensary, you have to deal in cash. You can't. They don't accept credit cards. They don't accept debit cards because they're not allowed to be part of the banking system in a lot of because it's federally.
I
Some
don't
states,
remember that. I think in Vegas they can take cards
so some
debit.
states
because
are
debit's counted as cash.
so yeah. Well, debit is cash, but some states are working to change their laws on the state level to try and make this process easier for them. But I mean, that's a big hindrance to their ability to operate is the forced need to
Is the illegality or the
the illegality
connotation
of it
attached with it? Yeah.
for sure on a federal level, because that affects so many things. I mean, like getting tax credits and small business loans and etc. Like the things you don't really think about, but things that would help these companies and these businesses, become about.
The only one of the negative things though I have seen about it also goes back to kind of the capitalistic idea that there's these large megacorps that are already buying up all these shops and like doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's not that many mom and pop style shops. There's a lot of just large companies owning a bunch of shit. What's cool is there's a lot of large companies that were made from regular everyday people, which is good. But I believe, if not mistaken, there's a lot of tobacco companies that are buying these or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. The tobacco industry is definitely getting involved in this because they see a big market when
Let's say if you can inhale it, they want it.
yeah, exactly.
It's like they already have all the infrastructure in place for all the inhalants, so it's like
It's true.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. So I know I think it was Ohio or some state up there. They had a bill that was for to make marijuana legal and uh, allow people to start producing it, companies and such. However, there was actually a big movement against this bill passing by people who wanted marijuana legalization because what this bill would do would basically give like like four or five major companies monopolies on all the weed production for that state with how that bill was written because you know how it is these companies come in, they have their lobbyists, so they work with representatives, they pay them by donations to get these bills into play to benefit them, not to benefit you or me.
it's like we don't want all these small companies doing it. We want the big companies doing it because they'll make it safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, safe. Ooh.
So diverging back to the schedule talk, if they do bring it from a Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, uh, what that will do will allow dispensaries to exist, but they will be treated like pharmacies. Again, as long as it's on the controlled substance, it will not be something that will be easily accessible. You need to go to a doctor, you need to get a prescription, you'll need to go to a pharmacy, you'll need to go to a dispensary that's going to be running under pharmacy
License.
rules.
Yep.
So that you need a licensed pharmacy technician and et cetera, et cetera.
That's gonna be a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. This won't be cheap. This will be still expensive because of everything involved. We're basically would be regressing to like early California weed days back then.
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
go to the doctor, get a note, do the thing.
remember when they increased regulations on like vape juice and like how many companies got shut down because of that because they just couldn't afford like the processes and shit that they put in place.
I didn't. I'm not into the vape as much
Oh.
as you are.
Like, no.
So they made it so that they had to file papers and like do the whole money thing for every single like line of juice that they had. So a lot of companies they had to cut back their juice line to like 3 or 4 or something like that. Some couldn't even do that. It was just too fucking expensive. A lot of them just went bankrupt.
Interesting. Well, yeah, because there was a lot of like random vape companies. It's kind of like the weed thing. A lot of people had their own different things that just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, not only that, but also, I mean, with the vape industry, we've seen, hey, we still don't know the long-term effects of vaping and what it does to the lungs. It doesn't, I mean,
It's not good.
it's not good.
All
If you
inhalants
think,
are bad. Your lungs are
yeah,
very
exactly.
fucking not okay things. You inhale anything, it's bad for you. TLDR. Gesundheit? Bless you. I don't know.
We can just I mean, we can just take that on post. It's fine. I definitely saw those meters go up.
Right.
Nah, it's
I
fine.
tried to hit the mute button. I failed on that.
No, I thought you did.
No, I didn't.
You didn't mark it though after you did it.
Yeah, I meant to mark it. Whatever.
Damn it.
We'll fix it in post.
We're doing it live. That's what we do here.
As we just decide, no, fuck editing. We're just gonna post it.
I mean, it's a podcast. That's what we do.
So yeah, that's interesting. That happened. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Texas is obviously going to be Texas, and it's going to be the last state in the fucking country to legalize it, because we live in Texas and you can't have anything. So this is a Christian state run by a bunch of
Dude, that's like the worst
God-fearing
thing about
Christians.
being down here.
Blue laws are dumb.
The blue laws, but also the overt religiosity of our representatives and how
Hold on a
they're
second. Is that a word? Religiosity?
yeah, that's a word.
Weird. Never heard it.
And them using the Bible to justify laws that do X, Y, and Z against X, Y, and Z group of people.
Yeah, pushing your religion specifically in public schools. I'm all for you having religion or what the fuck ever. I don't really care what you do, but pushing your shit on people is not okay, and also should be, I believe, against the Constitution.
It is.
Against
It's
your
a
First
separation
Amendment.
of church and state.
That's not Constitution.
Well, I mean, it's part of the fucking laws that are in place. The separation between church and the state, and
Yes.
it's not followed to the fucking letter at all.
It's not followed throughout most of government, though, friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's worse here.
Yeah, it's worse here for sure. But it actually, I mean, it is a part of the First Amendment. You have freedom of religion, but part of that is also depending on the line of thought, freedom from religion, in the sense that we should not, the state should not be entangled with religion.
No, 100%. State mandated religion shouldn't be a thing. And, I'm, again, not saying I hate on religions, any religion, really. It doesn't matter.
I mean, you're free to practice whatever you like as long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
Right. The only difference is, if you're a private school, you're a private Christian school, private, Muslim school, private whatever, that's private, it's
You're
different.
allowed
But
to
public
operate,
school,
but I don't think you should be getting public funding.
I don't know about that. I feel like
Because
maybe
that's
you should.
that's the state getting involved in a religious organization, and my tax dollars going to fund that. Which, I mean, I don't want. And again, we should not be funding religious organizations.
Well, I don't want my tax dollars to keep going to schools after like 30 years.
I mean, also with the religious thing too. That's it's like the main factor behind the thing that David was complaining about. I forgot no more baby.
What?
No more baby.
Are you talking about abortion?
There we go. That's a word that escaped my mind.
Oh my god.
Anti-baby pilling.
Baby, no go. Fetus deletus.
Exactly. Like there's like religious standpoints are the whole reason why.
God damn, it got so loud.
Right.
Well, I mean,
It's getting closer.
yeah. Like the whole reason why we have all that shit in place is usually, well, fucking religion. Oh, and let us go to the fucking liquor store on Sundays.
That's part of the blue law. Speak better,
Yeah, absolutely.
brother, buddy, whatever, friend, pal, guy.
Yes.
But yes, no, I agree. Also, that's the thing with as far as abortion is concerned. I'm not, again, I believe in probably one of the most like American ideas. I believe in proper true freedom. Everyone should just do whatever the fuck they want. Without hurting people, obviously. But I mean, just let people do their own thing. Let them have their autonomy. It doesn't hurt you. I know you want to protect all life or whatever the fuck you think you want. But somebody's own personal choice, but between their family, or whatever their thing is, it shouldn't be a public matter. It shouldn't be necessarily discussed. Like none of that. It's between those two people. It's them and their child and what's going on with them.
It's funny you mentioned that. Sorry to interrupt. So there's actually a Supreme Court case in front of them right now, with the state of Tennessee versus I forget who. So in the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of attacks against the transgender community. In the state of Tennessee, they banned the ability for for people under the age of 18 to get gender affirming care. So what always gets brought up is they're cutting off, people's dicks, whatever, etc. That's not what happens. So gender affirming care, a lot of times is counseling, is um, testosterone or estrogen, etc. Things of that nature, things that can be reversed, things that are generally non-permanent. Um, the
I don't know if that's necessarily true. Hormonal changes in young people is very bad for your physiology and for your brain.
So yeah, I mean, hormones do have a physiological effect on your body, but that's why it's a discussion between a person and their doctor on what the best approach is and how it should take. Gender affirming surgery does happen, but it's not it's not something that's done often. It's something that's done in a very small percentage. We're talking like literally handfuls in the given year.
And it probably has something to do with medical
Yeah, and
issues.
it's usually
or
with
something.
medical issues. It's usually not because the person is transgender. It's usually because something's happened and they need this kind of care. But yeah, so the state of Tennessee has banned it, and the family sued, and it's gone all the way to the Supreme Court. So right now, the state of Tennessee is arguing that they should be allowed to keep this ban in place. And to see some of the arguments come out of this court case recently, we're seeing like the Chief Justice John Roberts is saying that that the court is not a doctor, that we are not medical experts, and we should not be involved in the process. But that line feels so idiotic to me, considering that the fucking representatives of the state of Tennessee are not goddamn doctors. They are not medical professionals. They are regular ass people, fucking, who, are supposed to quote unquote represent us. But the whole small government idea is like this. This is a personal choice between the family, the patient, and the doctor. And people, nobody else should be involved in this process, kind of thing, because it's not for them. It does not affect them. It affects this person, the patient, and their family. And that's in my opinion where the extent of it should stop. This very conservative Supreme Court does not believe in that.
So you know what's going to happen.
They do not believe in that, and it's interesting because Justice Brown, Ketanji Brown Jackson, has brought up an important point, that this similar argument was around whenever they were talking about interracial marriage. These same argument was used where they're saying, well, a white man can't marry a black man, same as a black man can't marry a white woman, so it's a fair law because neither race can marry each other, kind of thing, and that's fair. So that's the exact same argument that the state of Tennessee is trying to use right now. A boy can't transition, a girl can't transition. That's fair. If neither gender can transition, then it's fair.
I mean that they're just trying to argue that if it's blocked, it's fair.
Yeah, exactly. If it's blocked, it's fair. When these
Crazy.
people need this medical care. I mean, statistically,
And this is what happens when we have people that are so fucking out of touch in government.
well,
Yes,
it's
They say
intentional.
shit like that.
So, because I mean, statistically, I believe the level of regret for transitioning, I think it's only like 5%. It's a very low percentage of people who regret transitioning. More people regret transitioning getting fucking knee replacements than they do gender transitioning. Do you think the amount of people who regret getting knee replacements is like 17% or something like that? Because
Based on
based on interviews, because a lot of times, because that's the thing, transitioning is not a, I choose today to go, have my dick cut off and transformed, etc. No,
I mean, you could.
I mean, you could do it yourself.
I mean,
But
a lot
No,
of
that's just. I wasn't talking about that. I mean,
no,
you
no.
as an adult, when you're 18, you can choose whatever the fuck you want.
I mean, a lot of people go for like the whole like 2 or 3 years, like going through like the hormone replacements and whatnot before they before they go with the gender transition.
Well, not only that,
Well, that's a
but
part of it.
but a lot of it is it's not easy, it's not simple, it's not quick. A lot of it is you're
No,
talking with doctors,
years.
you're talking with therapists, you're getting hormone treatments, you're changing your lifestyle. It is not a simple and a quick and simple process to transition. It takes a very long time and it costs a lot of money.
Let me caveat that. Properly transitioning.
Yes.
There's a lot of improper, and based on the 5% thing, some of the people, there are plenty of people I know that have transitioned properly and did good, and are what they are now, and that's cool. There are plenty of people I know that is way more than 5% that have transitioned and regretted it and tried to turn back and have a lot of physiological problems from it.
And
I have seen both.
and did those people go through the multiple years, the doctors,
Yes.
the therapy?
Yes. At some point, as much as this is a controversial topic, they had a lot of mental problems. Well, most of them do. There is correlation between mental issues and transitioning as well as other things. Unfortunately,
I don't know enough about that.
there's quite a bit. But the long story short of it, some people just need help. Other people legitimately, need to transition. Like there's it's like the spectrum basically.
And ultimately, that decision should be between them, their family, and the doctor.
Correct. And as far as the under 18 thing, as long as it's kosher with the parents, then it's fine. Or if it's medically necessary.
As long as, the doctors and the parents both agree that such a thing is medically necessary, they should be allowed to do it.
Correct. I fully agree with that.
This isn't terribly complicated.
No.
As far
And I'm relatively like more right leaning central, and like that makes sense to me.
yeah, exactly. But we see these politicians time and again try and insert themselves, whether it's in the abortion or whether it's in transitioning or whether it's in X, Y, and Z. Again, they always insert themselves in between you and your doctor because they say they know best because God told them this or Jesus told them this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're trying to impose their religion, their beliefs on you, and it's not right. It hurts people.
You're not a God-fearing man, and you're fucking wrong.
Right. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the good book that I read that I was brought up on, Jesus, homeboy, loved everybody. He died for everybody's sins because he wanted everybody to, make decisions and live their lives.
You know what? From a Republican perspective, I can say, it said, treat your neighbor as yourself. Well, I'm not transitioning. That's why should my neighbor transition? That's something they would use.
Yeah, that's true, but
I mean, also, if you look at the Bible, it's like it's time to start stoning everybody.
that too.
I mean,
It depends on which version you go. You can't. Unfortunately, Revelations is too old and you can't take it face value because Revelations is fucked. I love Revelations, though. Don't get me wrong.
well, that's the thing. Transgendered people do suffer a lot of violence, both domestic and just in general, too. So
True.
these people are already out there hurting and assaulting.
And that's another
It's
thing. Like
really
that doesn't even make sense. Why would you hurt somebody because of a decision that they made? That's probably the ape monkey brain thing where you just don't agree with their existence or whatever.
Why are people why are people homophobic, etc. kind of thing. They hate what's different, or they have some
Hate
internal, or they hate that person is living their best life, and maybe they feel inside that they feel a certain way that they're not allowed to express it, kind of thing.
Or
Internalized hatred.
I don't know if it's necessarily hatred. I think some of it's also just fear.
Could be fear of the unknown, fear of the different, for sure.
Or fear of themselves and what's inside.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it's shit that doesn't affect them. Why do they care?
That's my thing. And we're getting really bad about that these days. Like, pushing ideas into things on everybody and then polarizing those ideas, and this is seen obviously in the elections and everything. Like, we're all here, we're all talking. He's obviously more left-wing than I am. I don't know what the fuck he is. But we're all talking this out and just having a conversation. If we had, for instance, my sister, I couldn't sit my sister down and have a conversation with her, because if you disagree with her train of thought, she just kind of shuts down and blocks everything. And you're wrong because you're wrong.
Jesus.
There's no talking, and it's getting worse. And then that's caused by social media and things.
Absolutely. So, that's a big thing. Social media is definitely a big push for it. But
But
the thing is,
algorithms.
well, yeah, the algorithms. The thing is, the big reason why we're seeing these fight on culture, we're seeing culture wars happening, is because the rich and powerful do not want us to acknowledge that we are not the enemy of each other, that it is a class war that we should be fighting. The rich and powerful are our enemies. They use their money and their power and their wealth and influence to do everything they can to make more money for them and less money for us. Whether it's fighting, raising minimum wages, fighting unions, fighting, universal health care. These companies, these people spend all this time to do this to distract us. They don't want us to know who the real enemy is.
And that brings up something I've been talking about for a while. Unionize.
Absolutely.
Don't see why not.
Unionize fucking everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Unionization, thankfully, is on the rise with the recent, rise of Starbucks. Unionization, we're seeing it. We're seeing the conversation out there because people are seeing the power of a union.
Yep.
Yeah, Amazon. A lot of places
Amazon won't ever let you unionize.
There are a lot of warehouses now that are starting to unionize, especially the delivery side, and some of the warehouse side. It's a lot easier to unionize on the driver's side, though.
Well, the thing is, Amazon. The thing is, as we've seen, we all watch the same videos. The Uber video about the unionizing. They purposely will hire enough people at the time to make sure that those unionizing can't be voted.
So the other thing, and the thing about that though, is that the revolving door is starting to get fucking broken.
Oh yeah,
they're
running out of people.
Yeah, they're running out of people.
Stock.
They're running out of people that are willing to go through that revolving door because the revolving door is bullshit.
Absolutely.
Well, it's not just that. It's just they come in, they plop down these fucking warehouses, and they revolving door people. With what? I don't know what they're...
I mean, remember, that's a part of the business plan. Amazon themselves has said, we will treat these people like shit because we know we can get more, and they are just rotating them out.
Yep. Yeah. And eventually there will be no more. No one will work it. Although they're going to try to fix that with robots.
Their reputation is just fucking terrible. It's I worked for the delivery company for a while. Their algorithm is absolutely trash. Everybody's peeing in bottles. Nobody can take a break. And then they expect you to work for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the work
unquestionably inhuman conditions,
right? Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, it's good to see the rise of unionization that we're seeing in this country. Hopefully, we can get back into levels like we saw in the 50s and 60s, where I think it was like 45-50% of households were in a union, because we see the results. I mean, we saw the union fight with the big three automakers.
That was a big one.
I mean, that was huge, and it's going to happen again. It's even bigger this time. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Where
I'm fucked.
Where they fought with these automakers for months and months and months to get, higher wages, to get, better health insurance, to get, to stop the two-tier stop the two-tier employees, because what a lot of these companies would do would force on these unions was like a two-tier system. You had the people who'd been there a while, so they had the old tier, and when anytime you'd bring in a new person, it would be they'd be a second-class citizen essentially. So they would get less pay, less chance of advancement, etc. Because that's how that negotiation worked out. So Sean Fame and UAW fought for these rights and these privileges and benefits, and they succeeded to a great degree. I think they got a 30% increase or something like that, and they got their pensions back, and they got a whole bunch of other things. Like, they fought and they won, and that's what we can do. And we're going to see another big fight happening very recently, because Sean Fain and UAW is talking about right now, as we speak, of doing a strike at all three automakers simultaneously.
Again?
No.
Or did that not happen?
That did not happen. There was one. It was like one other, like one
GM for sure.
Yeah, it was GM, but it's going to be GM, Ford, and whatever the hell the other big three is.
Is it the big three American ones?
Yeah, the big three American ones.
Oh, so Dodge, Daimler, Chrysler, or whatever.
Yeah. So before, where the UAW was striking and such, they were like against one of them. Yeah, this will be the first time in UAW's history that they will be striking against all three automakers at the same time. They will fucking drag them into the dirt, and I'm here for it.
So the problem is that fucks me in my shop.
It does fuck you in your shop, unfortunately.
Well, guess I'm going to go to the secondary market and stock up on transmissions, baby.
Yeah, basically.
Should.
Yeah, you should. Because this is going to be big. If this happens, if this goes through, which it probably will, because the big three don't exactly want to give concessions because fuck the worker.
I don't know why they don't learn lessons by now.
Yeah.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
So this is going to be a big thing for this country, to see this happening, to see the power of the union again.
Also, if you think unionization is like communism or something, that's what the big people, they want you to think that. No, unionization is like the most American thing you can do.
You gotta understand, folks. Unionization is giving power back to you, not back to your boss, not to your management. Who the hell even likes their fucking management when all they do is tell you, we need you to work overtime. We're not going to pay you. We're going to cut your health care benefits.
We're going to make you shave your beard.
Exactly. Although there are time and a place for that. If you have to wear PPE or something like that, there are.
Yeah, but like the amount of places that I've applied for that are just like, we're gonna make you shave your beard, is just like take away your individualism.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
some
so
of that's just
un-American.
people. Some of them, like I've worked in places that were like, "Oh, that's how you look," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're just like, "Huh."
Yeah.
Weird. That stuff's weird.
Like,
that's another.
The people are just like, oh, you can't have tattoos, you can't have facial hair and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's like, it's just so un-American in my eyes.
It's unprofessional.
It's
You
unprofessional.
can't look different. You can't have anything.
Yeah.
Again.
So
Freedoms.
exactly. And a union gives that power back to you and your fellow workers, because the fucking executives who are making millions of dollars off of your labor are not giving that money back to you. You are not seeing the fruits of your labor when the company profits to the tune of billions. They are taking it. The shareholders are taking it, and you are getting nothing. You are losing money because when you don't get a raise, inflation fucks you over. Inflation reduces your money overall.
True.
And especially with the last few years of greedflation, with fucking Kroger's and these other major companies who decided, well, we're just going to raise prices and say it was COVID because we can.
It's like money's not moving around too because of fucking like you're not paying your employees. They're not being able to spend money. It's like, oh, I want all the money in my pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad for the economy, technically, yes, because
Yeah.
the money's not going back into the economy.
No,
Exactly.
because
Going into their pockets and then into their fucking dragon treasure hoards.
yeah,
which are
exactly,
banks.
because they need more. They need more. Number must go up. Rich CEO must always have more money.
More.
But a union can change that, as we've seen with the UAW. Again, they got raises, they got health care, they got
You should
pension.
you should tell the Tesla story.
Which one?
The one that was overseas.
The Netherlands one?
Yeah, I believe so. The one with the mail company.
Right. So currently, right now, in the Netherlands, Tesla, the mechanics are currently unionizing, and they want Tesla to recognize that the union exists and come to the negotiating table. Tesla has refused at all efforts, and in the Netherlands, because those are people who actually care about each other, they are other unions have decided to work in what's the word I'm looking for?
Conjunction?
In conjunction with these striking union workers to refuse to assist Tesla. So, as he mentioned, the mail union is refusing to deliver mail to the Tesla organizations in the Netherlands.
Too bad you can't do that in America because that's illegal.
All right. So and it's funny because Tesla took it to court to be like, hey, they need to deliver us the mail. Like they have to go into the mail post office to pick it up. The mail is moving, it's just not getting delivered. And the court was like, no, they're allowed to do this. You can't stop them from not delivering your mail. You're still getting it. You just got to go pick it up. So
Well, funnily enough, I feel like we had unions for like FedEx and UPS and shit like that. like-
UPS has a union.
UPS is a union. I think FedEx is too.
I think a lot of FedEx is. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it's all.
Like I'm like I feel like they would be able to decline mail. Like USPS might be harder. to
USPS
do.
is also union.
It is union.
I
It's a
don't know
public
if
union.
I don't know if legally they'd be allowed to.
USPS cannot. It is like a part of some amendment of the Constitution. It's something weird. USPS is ingrained so hard into the federal like existence for
Yeah.
the federal government. They cannot. That's the
Well-
whole thing. Was it rain, snow, whatever.
Yeah,
They
no
they
rain,
always
no
have
sleet,
to.
no snow
Yeah,
will keep us from
I imagine like
wanted
UPS
rats.
and
The
FedEx
mail
they
must
could
flow.
probably like if their unions could probably decline mail.
Possibly.
Yeah, probably. I
Yeah,
don't see why
I
not.
believe
Well, I think when the when UPS unions fight, they do the same thing.
Well,
I
yeah,
think they
nothing gets
strike.
delivered.
Yeah, which
And
UPS is
like
arguably the best.
I
Fuck FedEx.
imagine that also
Right.
means that like if USPS has to deliver the mail legally, they could probably jack up the prices.
Well, actually, that's funny you say that because I learned. You were there whenever he told me about the PO box thing, right? I know you weren't.
Hmm.
Oh, so found out something about USPS and PO boxes. Okay, so they do what's called customer something customer like revenue matching or something like that. TLDR. What USPS does in your area, because I went and I found out recently to get a PO box, is that they jack up the prices because I found out, I was telling you I was looking for them. The prices for where we live and some of the surrounding cities was retardedly high, like disgustingly high.
Okay.
Whenever on the site it's like, oh, it's $20 a month or
Right.
whatever. So I got mine further away because they don't have that. And the guy told me, he's like, oh, yes, it's a customer-based pricing is what it's called, but it's because a local USPS or store has PO box services. And so what happens is when one of those exists, USPS then raises the prices to match it to help customers.
It sounds like a tariff thing too.
I don't know
you
about the tariff thing, but
Well, no, because American manufacturers will increase prices to just below, to because of the Chinese.
I don't know if it's
coming
below.
in.
He said they match it. He said they match it
Well, I
directly.
mean, below smash, same thing,
Right. But I mean, these go from like $5 a month for the small ass box to like
right?
shit. I think the ones locally here are like 100 something, or they're like 50, 60, 80 a month or something for the smallest.
Really? Wow.
No, yeah, that's ridiculous.
when I bought
And over there, it's like $10 a month.
Yeah, because like when I bought a PO box in Bambalek, I was paying like maybe $15.
Yeah, which is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
How big was the PO box?
Not big. I have a mildly big one. I have a like 2 steps up, like medium size
Okay.
for 15 a month.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, that's not bad.
No.
I
already paid for it the whole year.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like, I mean, USPS has a bunch of problems right now. I mean, it's their leadership with fucking Postmaster DeJoy just working to destroy them.
Oh man, we could talk about the problems with the new car, the new mail delivery truck. That's a funny one.
What's wrong with the new Oshkosh?
What isn't?
Are you talking about
I
the new mail trucks with the fucking AC in them?
No. Well, I guess do they have
Yeah.
AC?
Yeah, the new electric ones do. Yeah.
No, I was talking about the meme ones, the like 15-ton ones or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's the electric ones, the new
Yeah.
ones, that have AC and they have radar and et cetera things, safety.
Well, at least they have AC and all that
AED.
good stuff, except for the problem where they're bad and don't have a. What is it? What was the big issue? They're just extremely heavy and they don't meet mile per gallon.
Yeah, so that was for the gas ones.
Yes.
So Oshkosh, who is a military defense contractor who had never made an EV before,
They make MRAPs.
was awarded this contract, even though Ford, who does make an EV, already had a vehicle that is already in use by U.S. post offices.
Ford Transit vans.
Yes, that they would have modified to meet their specifications, of course. Did not win the contract. So Oshkosh, what they did to avoid meeting federal regulations around emissions is that they intentionally added weights to their gas-powered vehicles so that way they would no longer be classified under the particular CAFE standards that they would have to then meet. So that way they would be exempt from it and then allowed to get 8 miles to the fucking gallon.
Also, I think they're using like something that's inferior, it's like inferior parts or something. There's a lot of issues with it, I heard.
I'm not
Besides what
sure
me
on
and
that
you have
one.
talked about, I looked into it later. Long story short, they're bad.
The new electric ones, I've seen a video on them. They look pretty good. Everything is like well and easy, like at height for them. The vehicles are tall enough. They have like they got like a bubble dome kind of view for the windshield,
Weird.
so they can see everything like really well.
New question: what is the range on those?
I think the range is, I think it's like 200 something miles, which is more than enough because your average post office route, is like less than like 25 miles.
Is it actually that small?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
then
they're really
then
quite
good.
small. And the thing is too with EVs is that you'll get the regenerative braking because you stop in the city a lot, so you'll actually save quite a bit as far as usage.
I think the big problem is going to be infrastructure because if the entire USPS rolls it out, all grids are going to have problems.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to increase the the charging at your standard U.S. post office, of course. Um, but ultimately, it should save the government quite a bit of money, both for the ease of repairability of them, the cost, the cost of electricity versus the cost of gas, kind of thing. Um, I think so. With after the outrage happened, where they were only going to buy like 20%, and they went up to 40%, then 50%. I think the latest numbers are they're going to have 90% of the fleet to be electric.
Well, yeah, whenever the other fucking gas-powered piece of shit is a beast and a slog and terrible,
Yeah, exactly.
makes sense. So, okay, so Oshkosh has made a electric one that's not as bad.
Yeah, not as bad.
Okay, good.
Um,
Positive there. I didn't
Yeah.
hear about that, so.
yeah, that's. I mean, realistically, I mean, it hasn't really been talked about. These, I don't know why they don't talk about it. I mean, it's. I still don't like it because it's Oshkosh, and they should not have gotten the contract, and somebody else who actually does it probably should have. I assume there was some corruption or other bullshit going on in the background. I mean, I think DeJoy owns shares in Oshkosh, so I'm just asking questions.
Also, I think the fat cat's in your room.
What room?
Your room.
Oh,
I heard it down there making a bunch of noise. I think it tried to jump over the shit again.
well, there's no food in there, so good fucking luck.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see when those start rolling out. Whenever I still don't know exactly when the hell they're
Right?
supposed to start production on them. But yeah, speaking back to post office, and speaking back to fucking DeJoy, who's doing his darndest to destroy the post office. Because folks, I'm sure y'all have had issues with the post office, where I'm sure your mail's been delayed, your packages aren't quite getting there on time.
He wouldn't know. He doesn't check the mail.
Right.
No, I don't really get mail to begin with, so
Survey says that's a lie.
I don't get important mail.
Yeah.
Survey says that's a lie.
How's that a lie?
Sounds like you don't know what important mail is.
You literally were waiting on your birth certificate, and you never even checked the mail, brother.
I mean, my birth certificate's down there.
Yeah, because I got the mail. I got it. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I mean, to be fair, the estimated time for that one was like a whole month. I didn't expect it to come in like I think it was like 4 or 5 days. You fucking came back and it was like, here's your birth certificate. I was like, what?
Yeah, but you didn't check the mail?
No, because it wasn't supposed to be there yet. It wasn't supposed to be there for a while, like multiple weeks.
I guess. Nobody
I
checks the mail
mean-
but me usually.
Right.
Or Jerry. It's me or Jerry.
So that's the thing. I mean, DeJoy did this intentionally. So what he did, folks, was like, if I send a letter from here in Dallas, and I sent it to someone in, let's say, Victoria. I'm just using those cities for example. So traditionally it would go, Dallas to Houston to Victoria, pretty straight line.
It might actually go straight to Victoria. I think Victoria
might.
has a hub.
Victoria does have a hub.
Yeah.
So it might go straight there. It might go through Houston. Either way you slice it. So what DeJoy did was instead of like your mail just going directly to that next city over kind of thing, you're in the middle of nowhere. It goes, you give it to your post office. They just take it over to the next city and it goes out. No. What they did was instead of doing that, your mail goes to a super center, a super warehouse distribution center, which could be, days away in the capital or some other major city. So where before you send a letter, it might take a day or two to get there. It has to go to this gigantic distribution center, has to be sorted in this gigantic distribution center, has to go to a regional hub. That hub has to then send it to the local post office, who then gets it to that person you're trying to send the letter to. Even if it was only 20 miles away, it might take a week.
You used a terrible example, by the way. You did Dallas to Victoria.
I
You
did
should have
do
been like
Dallas-
Houston to
I
Victoria or
should have done
something.
the Houston.
Yeah, whenever you were talking about this, I was like, wait a minute. No, this is like
Okay,
this is
fucking-
like the town over
Okay,
type shit.
League City to Lake Jackson.
Sure.
There we go. Whatever. The point is, small,
So
smaller
instead of going
towns-
directly to it, it has to go to a place and then go to another place and then it finally goes to the place. Where
Yeah,
it's supposed to go.
exactly.
Yeah.
So he has introduced so many delays, so much bullshit. Like he had the USPS like destroy sorting machines because of this centralization. So where before
That's fucking dumb.
yeah, no, exactly. Like if they're gonna use the same machines, they could have moved them over, or they could just let people keep doing a process that they know works and has worked for many years. But the whole point is to The whole point is to make the service worse. He was put in there by Trump, and the whole point is to make the service worse. Because what the ultimate goal is, if USPS gets bad enough, then they'll bring in, private, USPS or FedEx to run it.
UPS.
UPS or FedEx to take over for USPS. And then at that point, it'll just be a wholesale, here's the infrastructure, here's the public organization and company that we built, and have used for hundreds of years, and we're going to give it to private organizations.
But what would happen to the unions? What would happen to the rain, sleet, snow, whatever? What would happen to everything? Because UPS closes more.
That promise is going to be dead. Because that's the thing too. Your average mail carrier delivers to everybody. If you have an address, and sometimes even if you don't, your mail will get there. That is a promise by the government. That is a promise by USPS that your mail gets there. UPS, FedEx, they don't have to deliver everywhere, and they oftentimes don't deliver everywhere. They get to pick and choose who they want to be their customer. But USPS, every one of us is a customer. Every one of us is eligible to use the service.
If you have a mailing address.
Caveat. But
We use a
again,
PO box if you don't.
they will go into the middle of nowhere places where FedEx and UPS don't go. They will go to the hard, out of reach places. They will go to the places where it's like you got to get out of your vehicle, take your bag of mail, walk 10 miles because ain't no car getting there, and they will get it there.
They're the ones that get the job done.
Exactly.
And even they are pay for them ain't that great either. Last time I checked.
It's actually pretty decent.
It's pretty decent.
And they also have a pension.
They do have a pension.
I think they're one of the few companies that they start out but they have regular wages for as long as you're fucking there.
Yeah.
I think they start at like 12 to 15 maybe. I don't know. The local post office had a hiring poster.
I think
You should
tell
check
me.
that out.
They were telling me about it. Yeah, I told them. I told little boy.
I mean,
I
I've been
told you.
applying to anything that's been popping up. I don't know if USPS was popping
You're
up.
It's
probably
not
gonna
going
wanna
to
go
go.
in
You have to go to their
person.
website. No, you have to go to their website.
You go to the website.
They had a job fair. They were supposed to have a job fair, but then the guy was telling me the person that was supposed to run the job fair quit or something else happened or
Unfortunate.
something weird. I was like,
So yeah, I mean, it's an intentional plan to destroy it, and it's hurt it and hurt the American people with the service delays and everything else.
nope, definitely.
I mean, I don't understand why DeJoy is still in place. I don't know why he wasn't removed for his failure to properly run that organization and get the mail out to people in a timely fashion.
Maybe they just didn't pay attention.
I guess.
I mean, I'm surprised that because didn't most of the other Trump position appointments get removed whenever Biden became president?
A lot of them, but not all of them, because Biden was like, I'm going to keep these people around because I can work with them and such and such. I mean, he is an old person who thinks that these people can still be reasoned with and a actual, genuine, heartfelt conversation can happen. But
Interesting.
these people are not honest actors. These people...
What are they? What are they? What kind of actors are they? Porn?
Yeah. So it's just disheartening to see.
I mean, it's like porn with how they fucked the USPS
ooh,
or the other offices they were a part of.
right? Shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess go ahead and close out. That's been all of us here at the No Name Podcast currently, and we'll get back with you guys next week.
I'm sure there'll be a name by the time that this is posted.
This is us we're talking about. That's not gonna happen.
Not happening here.
It's just forever the No Name Podcast now.
Could be.
Could be. Yeah.